a Western Final Showdown. Two very similar teams in that they both come into the season with not a lot of expectations from anyone other than themselves, yet they're both playing for the right to go to Eire. Yeah, I think they're also similar to both teams that Western Final. Newcastle might have really been the same way. They've done a tremendous job. They've gotten better week by week, and we're seeing two improving teams. And there's no better way to watch football than watching two teams that are getting better down by down. Duff, ever since we got into the district playoffs, heading into the PIAA playoffs, we've talked about the youth of this Cathedral Prep team. They're no older than they were, but if you look at it in actuality, this is a team that if you take all the sophomores, they've now played 5 or 6 extra ball games, so they're really halfway through their junior year, so they do have some veteran legs under them now. Yeah, it isn't a youthful team anymore. It was when the season started, and that's why they struggled early on. This is not a young football team. Confidence-wise, mentally-wise, this is a football team that's in their heads, on the field, and the only disadvantage they may have at all is from their physical standpoint. They're younger than the teams they've been playing, but they've overcome that as the years progress. Our Jamie Murphy is down on the sideline. Will be there throughout the game. James, what's the situation down at field level? Thanks a lot, guys. Usually a sideline assignment in December is an unenvious position, but it is fantastic down here. Feels like September. The only worry tonight may be the rain. May make the surface a little slick, but right now it is a beautiful night. 60 degrees, fans filling in. Set to see a very close game, you guys have said. Between Prep and Newcastle, these two teams are so similar, it's amazing. Of course, we've been waiting all week for this. Game time is just 30 minutes away, and these fans will at least be comfortable in December for a change. To sit here to watch a great Western final between Prep and Newcastle football reports throughout the game. Let's go back up to you guys. Thank you, Jamie. Looking forward to your reports along the sideline, and we will be back to continue with this Prep pregame show. The PIAA Western final will be joined by Athletic Director Tony Hines and get you set as we're counting down the kickoff here on Fox 66. Stay with us. We're back after this. With the memories of last year's snowfall still in our minds, Chris Tire Corner is ready to handle your winter tire needs. Marty Cole will be proud to show you the Dayton Winter Track Snow Radial tires. Chris also offers Dayton and Delta passenger tires for all season tracking, and the Delta Vista with a 60,000-mile written warranty will make an excellent choice. And for the budget miner, the Dayton Quadra LT offers terrific year-round value. Stop in at Chris Tire Corner, mention it through the ad, and receive a free winter wiper blade with the purchase of a pair of snow tires. Silk Screen Unlimited and Erie Tradition for screen printing, embroidery, engraving, and specialized products for your school, club, business, or organization. Listen to what their customers have to say. I've been with the customer for over 3 years at Silk Screen Unlimited. Roy Gloss has been providing our company with windbreakers, t-shirts, and that's giving my employees a very professional look on the job site. Silk Screen Unlimited, where you're guaranteed to get quality work. Call 1-800-724-1683 or stop by today. The great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. We're based on many unmanned, Buick, and GMC trucks are the highest GM history. And for $99, check out the only fully equipped Pontiac and FD truck. Buy it for $15,900, or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome to make yourself a super deal. Rich Weaver, Rich Pontiac, GMC, all at one location. When you need an appliance, you want selection, service, and guaranteed low price, and you want it now. Buy it today, we'll deliver tomorrow with Arthur F. Schultz Express Delivery. We've been serving Erie for 85 years. No one beats our selection of leading brands and our award-winning customer service factory purchase after the sale. And Arthur F. Schultz guarantees low prices on America's leading appliance and TV brands every day.
Pennsylvania's largest selection of furniture and appliances, guaranteed low prices and customer satisfaction. Arthur F. Schultz has it.
You are looking live at Erie Veterans Stadium, where in just under 30 minutes there will be probably the first sellout in this stadium in a very long time. The official seating capacity, 9,970. 30 shy of 10,000. We are joined by Athletic Director Tony Hines. Tony, I venture to guess there are going to be more than 10,000 people in this venue tonight for what should be a remarkable ballgame.
I would say that's a safe guess, Mike. We're thrilled to be here. This is a great moment for Cathedral Prep, a great moment for Coach Mishler, and a great moment for our team. And again, we're thrilled to be here, and we hope we represent Erie well tonight.
Looking at the crowd turnout like it is, you're in your second year and Coach Mission is first year. I mean, as the young administrator and young head coach, you have to be looking at this situation thinking, wow, what did we get ourselves into, the way this community has come behind this team. And you made a comment to me earlier in the week, what was most remarkable were the people turning out to get tickets weren't necessarily Prep alumni or really Prep fans.
That's correct, Mike. First, I think the young head coach had much more to do with it than the young athletic director, so I want to give Mike a great deal of credit. He has done a remarkable job, and the spirit is vibrant and alive as manifest by all these people who turned out. And second, many of our regular Prep fans have turned out, but the community itself has come down to Prep, wished us well. It was great to be able to see people, shake their hands, share a joke, and a smile with them. It was a tremendous week for Cathedral Prep.
What about the attitude of the players and the student body? You've been with them all week, probably anxious to get this one underway.
I think that's a good term, Mike, because as you and Duff had alluded to in the opening shot here, we have a young football team, and they have been through some big games, and now they're really starting to grow up and mature. But I think in any big game, you always get that little butterflies, which tells you that you're ready to play a football game.
We'll talk in a few moments with the principal. How is the administration and the real top brass handling all this success, and are we getting anything taught in the walls of Prep these days?
I think as long as Mrs. Joanne Mullen is a principal at Cathedral Prep, I think that we'll always be prepared academically as we are athletically. But Father Allison, the headmaster, and Mrs. Mullen, they have been just tremendous. They're tremendous leaders, and they too share the credit in the success that's happening at Cathedral Prep.
Tony, we know you want to get down to the field. We'll let you do that. But as we talked about that, he's talked so much about head coach Mike Mishler. He certainly has done a remarkable job, maybe the best a first-year coach has ever done. We look back at how he's gotten this team to this point.
All right, there we go. Come on, team! Let's go, team!
Regardless of what happens in tonight's CIAA Western Final, the big question facing head coach Mike Mishler is, what do you do for an encore? With an extremely young football team, he's managed to take this program farther in 1 year than any other Cathedral Prep first-year head coach.
Okay, good pitch, good job. Okay, let's go.
Mish will be the first to tell you that the season turned with a huge win on the road at Altoona. The local fans actually felt the glory return when the Ramblers upended McDowell. Before Mike Mishler knew it, his team was about to win a District 10 championship.
We'll take it in. Let's go. Front five on three. Let's go.
No letdowns here. Let's take this one. Keep training 24 minutes and we do it the right way, baby. 1, 2, 3. In the inter-district playoff run, the Magic continued with an easy win over Pittsburgh Shenley. But it was the never-say-die Ramblers who stunned State College in double overtime to earn a field pass for the Western Final at Veterans Stadium.
I mean, this is the best season you could ever ask for. We got a couple more to go. My fat guy, you win. I want that chocolate raining on me.
Mike Mishler could walk away from football when this season ends and never coach again, and he'd still be considered one of the best first-year head coaches ever to walk a sideline.
I want to tell you this. What I tell you about? At the time of your life, baby. At the time of your life.
Another turning point for stuck in the rut. Come that you bother as you where to go. Don't make the best of this past and gonna find. It's not a question, but a lot to learn in time. Something unforgettable, in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photograph and still bring a lot, guys, and we're here now joined with Mike Mishler, Prep head coach, and right now the excitement, I bet you're just waiting just to get the kickoff underway at this point.
Yeah, we just want to roll. I mean, I think the kids are ready. It looks like the crowd's pretty ready. Our coaches are ready. We just want to get this thing going.
You keep thinking back, a lot of people have been talking about how the season's gone, how you guys came back, the low point at Cleveland St. Ed. Do you keep thinking about that? Is that still a motivational factor at that point when you guys were 2-4 and you turn it around?
I mean, I know that we certainly think about it a little bit, but I mean, right now we're just playing good football, and that's all we're focused on is Newcastle right now. We want to make sure we do what we have to do tonight to hopefully win this football game.
What about their defense? They're highly touted outside end, and you're going to try to run. North Allegheny was able to run against them. Is that what you're going to focus on tonight?
Yeah, we're going to try to establish the run and go from there, hopefully earn the pass.
And finally, Mike, your first-year head coach, continuing the prep tradition, just getting here and beyond. What does this mean to you? What does this mean to the school?
It's everything. I'm just, again, I've said this all year long, but I'm happy for the prep community and these kids and our players and the student body down there and the alumni. It's just a great experience.
Mike Mishler, thanks a lot for talking to us. Good luck to you tonight. Mike Mishler, Cathedral Prep head coach, gracious enough to give us some time right before kickoff. There's hardly an empty seat in this stadium. It's fantastic to see that stadium fill. And tonight, Mike and Brian, we're going to see a close game, probably maybe even 7-7, a carbon copy of that State College game. Two good defenses here tonight, and we'll find out who is going to have the better defense in just a few minutes. Let's send it back up to you guys. All right, with the Clifford Cathedral Prep, find out how the administration is dealing with all this success. Stay with us.
What's your idea of the perfect minivan? Is it the most luxurious, one with a leather trim with preferred smooth interior, heated front seats, and dual zone temperature control? Or is it America's lowest priced minivan that still includes features like easy-out roller seats and air conditioning? There's only one place to choose from the complete selection of award-winning minivans. Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Now get 1,000 cash allowance and 1.9% APR on Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. If you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift, this year give the priceless gift of good health with a membership gift certificate from Nautilus Fitness and Racquet Club. It'll be appreciated by everyone on your gift list. From now until Christmas Eve, every Nautilus membership is discounted to just a $69 initiation fee. And at only $69, it's an affordable gift for everyone. Come in now. This membership special ends Christmas Eve. Only at the Nautilus Fitness and Racquet Club. Are you looking for employment?
Or a better paying career?
Employment opportunities are available now at Career Concepts.
A process engineer is needed in the Erie area, paying $40 to $48K.
A machining supervisor with CNC experience, $35 to $45K.
A position is open in process mold setup, paying $8 to $9 per hour.
Openings in shipping and receiving, $6 to $7.50 per hour.
A part-time executive assistant with computer experience, $7.50 an hour.
Full-time accounts payable clerk is needed, paying $7 to $8 per hour.
Career Concepts, your staffing headquarters.
Day 2. Coldest day yet. The dogs won't move. Still no way to contact and supplies around the wall.
I'd like some cookies and my cocoa.
There are a few things you can always count on. You go anywhere, Jeep Cherokee is just one of them. Lease a new 99 Cherokee Sport for $269 a month and get all this at no extra charge. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
The Newcastle High School Band is entertaining the capacity crowd at Veterans Memorial Stadium, where here the Cathedral Prep Ramblers will take on the Red Hurricane of Newcastle. We are now joined in our broadcast booth by Principal Mrs. Joanne Mullen. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. We know you have so much to do down on the field and with the fans and the student body. This must be a great time in the history of Cathedral Prep, and how are you handling it all?
Well, you know, I wish we had problems like this all the time. It's absolutely great. The student body is excited, the prep community is excited. We're just thrilled with the whole thing, and we're just doing anything that we can possibly do to help make it easier for Tony Hines to do his job, and especially Mike Mishler and his team.
Isn't it great for the school and really for your entire administration, the student body, the way the community has now embraced this team? All year long, you're the rival, but now you're one team that this community has embraced.
I think it's just great this evening. You look at the weather, it's perfect football weather. The crowd is just overwhelming. And here we are in Erie with a local team, with a Western playoff. And the city is here to back prep, and you go by and you see the prep signs and windows, and it makes you really feel good to think that we're pulling together as a community and cheering for our team.
As an educator, what does it mean to the student body that they receive this type of attention and this type of support from the community? Is it a true positive?
Oh, I think it is. I think it boisters them up, and they feel very confident. They're very proud. Of course, they're always proud, but this just adds to it. We do have our academic program. It's still having classes every day, but
It's always. We know that.
But in the cafeteria, they come out with a few little cheers and banging on the tables, and you hear it throughout the halls, and it's just wonderful. Just
Thank you
wonderful.
so much for joining us. I would have asked Tony Hines for a prediction, but I wouldn't expect it to be right. How about the principal? You got a call on this game?
You know, I've been thinking about this. I think Newcastle can be beaten, and if we play our game and we don't make mistakes, I think we'll take it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Mullin. It's great to have you in the box. We hope you enjoy the night and enjoy the run, hopefully all the way
I hope so.
to Hershey, Pennsylvania. The principal of Cathedral Prep High School, Miss Joanne Mullin. So many principal parts of this team that make it a great team. One of those is the defensive coordinator, who people around the country know because of what he's done in the game of football. That man is Joe Moore.
I tell you, I think the Supermen come up and down there. They're not as good as we are. They're not as tough as we are. They've been trained like we are.
Cathedral Prep defensive coordinator Joe Moore has coached at the highest levels possible in college football. But now he's back as a Rambler assistant and as the defensive coordinator. And to Joe Moore, it doesn't matter whether you're coaching a Super Bowl team or a team trying to win a state championship. It's still the game of football.
When I'm preparing kids to play, I go back to Richfield Springs in 1959 to when we played for the national championship down in Arizona. But they're all the same. They make it more people involved with, the parents and the family. Really, there's no difference there. I was thinking about that. I was standing out there. I think, this is the same as like a national championship as far as I'm saying. There's kids and they're trying to win a football game, and you just hope you didn't let them down.
I played against better high school teams than that. That's a fired-up Joe Moore on the sideline at a Pitt Notre Dame game back in 1992. Joe Moore is always fiery and loves to get the most out of his players. And he also loves to give the players the credit when they win, and he likes to take the blame when they lose.
Night before game, there was one that maybe should have covered this, covered that. But physically, we're in good shape. And mentally, the kids are ready to play. And I just hope I got them in the right spot.
Joe Moore is certainly one of the reasons the Cathedral Prep Ramblers battling for what hopefully will be a state title. Don't go away. We're back with more for the Prep pregame show after this timeout.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Hey, gordita fans, grab a steak gordita. Marinated slices of grilled steak, a blend of cheeses, all wrapped in pillowy flatbread.
Friends, Chrysler Plymouth Dodge and Jeep and Waters at his Chrysler Corporation's Tri-State Superstore. We've got over 500 of the hottest selling, most desirable vehicles produced today, like the 99 Plymouth Prowler, the all-new LHS and 300M, Dodge Intrepids and Chrysler Concords, Sebring Coupes and convertibles, plus you've got minivans, Jeeps, Ram trucks, and all-new Dodge Durango. People drive from 3 states to get their best deal at Humes, so come see us today. We're only 9 miles south of the Mill Creek Mall on Peachtree and Waterford. Ho, ho, ho! What can I get for you, little boy? Stand a langer?
I need an energy-efficient furnace to keep my family warm all winter.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa Linus Falls can deliver and install a furnace this winter so your family is warm and comfortable.
Langer, I'm not sure what my family needs.
Ho, ho, ho! How about a hot water heater to give you plenty of hot water year-round?
Happy holidays from H. Jack Langer Plumbing.
No problem, happy holidays.
Welcome back live to Erie Veterans Stadium, the site of tonight's DIAA Western Final, and Duff, this has turned out to be a great facility for football. We've seen it the last several weeks. The AstroTurf makes a difference. It certainly does. And a dry AstroTurf tonight is going to make a huge difference. We had a little rain. It actually rained pretty hard for a while, but we were just down in the field before the pregame show came out, and the field stayed completely dry. If that's an advantage for anybody tonight, it's for Cathedral Prep. I think they're a little bit quicker than Newcastle. You know, you and I have talked about Mike Mishler and all he's done. We remember the night when we waited with his wife when he got the prep job. Our Jamie Murphy is now down on the sideline with Mike Mishler's wife. Jamie, take it away. Thanks a lot, guys. And here with head coach Mike Mishler's wife, Mary Mishler. And thanks a lot for talking to us. Mary, how is this for Mike? I know this has to be some of the hectic month of his entire life.
Yeah. Well, for Michael, he was able to play at Cathedral Prep as a student, and then to be able to come back and to be offered the head coaching job has just been a dream come true. This first season has been incredible. They've had an excellent coaching staff, and they have really gelled together so wonderfully, and the players are just dedicated, and the excellence in the football program has been outstanding, and we're just so happy to be here. It's just been an incredible season, and wonderful to be a part of the great dance and the turnout tonight. It's just been wonderful.
How was it for him when a lot of people said at the beginning of the season he was too young, and then the team got off to a slow start? How was he then, and to pull yourself together and a team together? That has to mean a lot for you to see Mike struggling there and now turn it around.
Oh yes, well, he never once doubted the football program or the students' abilities. He knew that it would come together. It's a young team, so they had to go through some growing pains, but wow, it's definitely paid off, and the motivation and just the excitement of the season has just carried them to where they are today.
Mary, thanks a lot for talking to us. And, of course, along with yourself, we'll be rooting on Mike Mishler in the prep and hoping for a good game above all between both these teams, Newcastle and Cathedral Prep. Guys, we're getting close. You can feel the energy. It seems to be a long time before this game starts. Kickoff in a few minutes. Let's send it back up to you guys. Thank you very much, Jamie. It's certainly a great night for Cathedral Prep and their fans. Both teams are now making their way out of the locker room. As you know, kickoff comes at 7:05. But now let's go to our public address announcer. I believe we're about set for the starting lineup. Not just yet. We will go to him momentarily for the starting lineup. But Duff, you've played in games like this. Cleveland St. Joe's, you played for state titles on the football field, many know you as basketball. What are the players feeling right now? Well, there is nothing like the raw emotion that you're going to feel when you're involved in a football game like this, Mike. The butterflies are flying. You could have played in so many huge situations and so many big games, but there's nothing like this. There is so much on the line for both of these football teams. It is a game that they will never forget. As a high school football player, they will remember this for the rest of their lives. I can tell you that because I can remember minute details of playing in state football and basketball championship games from when I was in high school. It certainly is a great atmosphere with the teams coming out on the field. Again, I hate to bring it up, but the youth, is this week worse on the nerves of a player than last week? I don't think so. We touched a little bit about that at the top of the pregame show. We talked about how Cathedral Prep has really grown up as a team. I don't think it's going to be any different for Cathedral Prep than it is for Newcastle. Maybe the only place that Prep's youth is going to hurt them is going to be physical strength. Newcastle just may be a bit stronger muscle mass-wise than Cathedral Prep. We'll be back with the starting lineups here at Veterans Stadium right after this. Your family. People who are there for you. People you trust. People that make you comfortable. Sound familiar? Hi, I'm Chuck Fuller from Patterson & Sterling. We've been in business for over 140 years. All our dealers have met the Lennox Quality Dealer Standards program. With Patterson & Sterling, call for all your home heating and cooling needs. And tell me if you want portrait or wallet size. One less thing to worry about.
It's going to be that over the river and through the woods time of year. Nothing gets you to grandmother's house, the office, or the ski lodge like a GMC Yukon. And right now, there are more Yukons available in our area than ever before. Yukons are big and powerful, with seat six to include all the creature comforts. And yes, the Yukon starts at just $29,995. Don't buy anything until you test drive a Yukon from Rick Weaver, Hartley, Emery Man, Griffin Foster, Liggers, Miss Gray, or McClellan GMC.
Smolder's trapped in another man's body and missing out on the time of his life. Oh yeah, X-Files, Sunday night on Fox 66. You're watching series Fox 66.
And now let's go to our public address announcer, John Whitwell, for tonight's starting lineup. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Erie Veterans Memorial Stadium in the 1998 CIAA football playoff. This evening's Quad A Western Finals see the WPIAL District 7 representatives, the Newcastle Red Hurricanes, take on the Ramblers of Cathedral Prep of District 10. The winner of tonight's contest earns a trip to Hershey and a shot at the state title. Cathedral Prep will be home team on the scoreboard. At this time, I'd like to set the starting lineups for tonight's Western Finals. First, introducing the starting offensive unit for Coach Gary Schooley's Red Hurricanes. At center, a 5'11 junior, number 60, Sean Runyon. At guard, a 6-foot senior, number 62, E.J. Ryan. The other guard is the 6'6 junior, number 71, Nick Marmo. At one tackle, a 5'10 sophomore, number 64, Nick Charlo. The other tackle is a 5'11 senior, number 68, Sean Briscoe. At tight end, a 6'4 senior, number 81, Pat Kane. At split end, a 6'2 junior, number 88, Corey Lemon. The fullback is a 6-foot junior, number 31, Justin Sheldon. At halfback, a 5'7 senior, number 27, Gordon Austin. At halfback, a 5'9 junior, number 22, John Rosati. And at quarterback, a 6'2 senior, number 4, Joe Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Gary Schooley and the remainder of his Red Hurricanes. And now introducing the starting defensive unit for Mike Nicholas Cathedral Prep Ramblers. At nose guard, a 6'5 senior, number 64, Joe Boyer. At defensive tackle, a 6'2 sophomore, number 59, Charles Rush. At defensive tackle, a 6'2 senior, number 77, Rory Carroll. At defensive end, a 6-foot junior, number 79, John Sitter. At middle linebacker, a 6'4 sophomore, number 40, Joe Dupre. At middle linebacker, a 5'10 junior, number 6, Chad Lino. The outside linebacker is a 6'4 senior, number 2, Steve Noonan. At one corner, a 5'8 sophomore, number 13, Josh Lustig. The other corner is a 6'4 sophomore, number 11,
was certainly nice job introducing the teams and the players, and we are counting down the kickoff, and these two teams were fired up, ready to go. One thing we really haven't gotten into is game plan.
Yeah, I think for Cathedral Prep, the big thing from everything I'm hearing about Newcastle is they are a team that plays on raw emotion. They want to look for the big play. Newcastle does a tremendous job defensively setting up their offenses. That's what they did in the Whitfield Championship game against North Allegheny. The defense did a tremendous job coming up with the football and putting their offense in position to score. They rely on raw emotion to play this game.
Heads up, these two teams getting set for what will be the ceremonial coin toss. They've already done the coin toss officially out on the field prior to the game, and what they do now, Duff, is they bring the captains out, they meet, they let the fans know, and it's certainly a great opportunity. So we'll come back and maybe catch this ceremonial coin toss and the national anthem when we return to the Western Finals.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Hey, gordita fans, grab a steak gordita. Marinated slices of grilled steak, a blend of cheeses, all wrapped in pillowy flatbread.
I'm gonna learn to fly too! I'm gonna ask Santa next time I see him!
Make a wish come true for yourself and for a child from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Beginning December 12th, Fox 56 will be giving away an NFL Wish prize pack. Stop by a Shot in the Dark or Nautilus Fitness and Racket Club and register to win a stuffed Annabelle doll, a copy of the movie, and the CD soundtrack for yourself and your special Make-A-Wish friend. Merry Christmas from a Shot in the Dark, Nautilus, Make-A-Wish, and Fox 66. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Rick Weaver Buick Pontiac GMC. Out on the field, the captains were meeting again. This is a ceremonial coin toss. The referee is out there. They've already officially done the coin toss, but they will indicate to the crowd exactly who has won the toss. And Duff, if you're one of the captains out on the field, what are you going for? The ball? You're deferring? I mean, there's not really a wind issue.
Well, the first thing you do is really enunciate what you want, heads or tails. I think that's the real issue right now. I don't think it matters, Mike. I don't think there's any situation here that is better to go one way or the other. The wind does not look like it's going to be a factor. The only issue may be you may not want to go into the closed end of the stadium late in the football game. There are just a few empty seats in that area. The noise factor could actually be a big-time key in this one. The ceremonial coin toss has been wrapped up, and Newcastle is going to get the football first. Cathedral Prep will defend the south goal. What we talked about earlier, Mike, emotion, and that's what Newcastle plays on. Cathedral Prep will want to come out and shut down Newcastle and keep them away from the big play.
The official captains out on the field for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers are your fullback, Chad Lino, along with Larry Auditore, Joe Boyer, and certainly Steve Noonan, who is one of the key seniors on this team, who plays great defensively. He's done some good things out of the backfield, but talking about backfields, they don't come any better than Cathedral Prep because they officially list Steve Noonan as your starter, but everybody knows that Devon Sanders, who goes by Bob Sanders, so you'll hear us call him that a few times tonight, also one of their big guns. But now, it's our national anthem.
in the PIAA Western Final. The special teams will gather near midfield. They'll call them in for a huddle, and we will kick this game off and get it underway live from Erie Veterans Stadium. It's the Cathedral Prep Ramblers and the Newcastle High Red Hurricanes out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A lot of talk about the Newcastle basketball team, supposedly one of the best in the nation. As those athletes hold true on the football side, I'm sure they will provide a worthy opponent for the Ramblers here tonight. In fact, with the Woodville Championship just 1 week ago for Newcastle High School, it was their 11th in school history, and they now have over 600 Woodville wins in the school's history in 45 years. They are the winningest team out of the WPIAL, and they're certainly going to try and improve on that tonight and come up with a victory over the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, as the Ramblers will kick it off, kicking right to left, kicking to the open end of the stadium for Cathedral Prep High School.
Mike, what you want to avoid on a kickoff is mistakes. For Newcastle, that will mean no blocks in the back, no clips, and holding on to the football. For Cathedral Prep, here's where you can force an issue early on. You can get some big hits off the kickoff, off the special teams, and Cathedral Prep will look to make the first big play of the game. But remember, it's emotion for Newcastle and big plays, and I think it's quickness and speed for Cathedral Prep.
Devon Sanders kicks it off down inside the 9-yard line where the Red Hurricanes have it. They bring it out near the 20. The Dumper may have just seen what will be the key to the ball game tonight, and that's hitting. And this Prep Rambler team certainly does deliver.
Well, they'll come at you and they'll pop you. They're not afraid to stick their hat right in a pile, and that's what they did on the special teams. And I'll tell you, by the time this game is over, I think special teams are going to play an absolutely huge part in this football game. It looks like two very evenly matched teams. When that happens, a lot of times it's the kicking game, kicking off, punting, return game that turns the key.
So Newcastle is set for the first play from scrimmage. They will start right at their own 20-yard line, and the give is deep in the field, and the ball is loose on the ground. The Ramblers say they have it. That's Cathedral Prep. Cathedral Prep has the ball. First play from scrimmage goes the Ramblers' way. And this is huge.
Well, we talked about big plays, and Cathedral Prep got an absolutely huge one right there. Something very interesting, Mike, on Cathedral Prep's defensive front. Boy, they had 9 people in the box. They had one-on-one coverage, Newcastle did, on the receiver, and you can see Cathedral Prep doing the job defensively. The big hit up the middle is made by Cathedral Prep's number 13, doing a terrific job. Lustig getting his hat on the ball, and hopefully the Ramblers can turn this into some points.
Eric Carlson will step up under center, quickly right up the middle. For a gain of 3 or 4 yards. Look like Steve Noonan.
Good opening offensive play for the Ramblers. They held onto the football, and Newcastle didn't, so already they're ahead of the game. Good 4-yard burst by Noonan, sets up a 2nd and 6, and boy, you gotta love the way this one has started for the Ramblers.
So the Ramblers with the ball with out of the I formation. Carlson at quarterback. Lino right behind him, and the give is to Sanders. He gets a yard maybe. As he gets over the line of scrimmage, Ed Hinkle will come to the sideline. He was split to the near side of the field.
I noticed right away, Mike, Newcastle's defensive alignment, they're respecting the pass much more than Cathedral Prep did. Now, granted, it was only one Newcastle offensive play, but it looked like Cathedral Prep was not going to respect the aerial attack of Newcastle. It's not tremendous. It's okay. But right now, it looks like Newcastle has to be a little bit more concerned with Prep getting the ball up in the air, and this is a throwing situation now.
Wing split out. Carlson looks. He finds Lustig. Lustig still on his feet. Gets down inside the 5 to about the 3, where the Ramblers will have it first and goal. Josh Lustig, only a sophomore, comes up with a huge play.
Lustig is one of those guys that is just going to catch the football. It doesn't matter if he's in traffic. He's got tremendous concentration. How's this for a sophomore running over the middle, knowing you're going to take a hit, to have the concentration to hold onto the football? There are seniors in college and guys in the NFL that don't want anything to do with catching the football over the middle.
Out of the I, first and goal from the 4, straight up the middle. Touchdown Ramblers. Damon Bob Sanders into the end zone, and the Ramblers are on the scoreboard with 10:20 remaining in the opening quarter.
Big block on the right side by Charles Rush, doing a tremendous job opening that hole for Sanders. About 2 minutes into the game, and Prep's got the lead already. There you see the great block on the outside by Charles Rush, and that does the job, getting Sanders into the end zone. The offensive line, Prep knew one thing, they were going to be able to block, and there you have so far. line for the extra point for Cathedral Prep. Jason Golak, and it doesn't go, and that's been one concern for this team. Special teams, Mike. Special teams.
We said a special teams play may decide it. You hope it's not like that. Remember a couple years ago, Mike, when Central played against McKeesport in the Western Final right on this exact field? Central lost the football game to McKeesport 7-6 because they could not get an extra point. Now, we're not, there's 10-20 left in the first quarter, so we're not saying by any stretch of the imagination that this extra point's going to be big, but it was absolutely huge for the Central Falcons against McKeesport.
You know, Rambler fans viewing at home that may have been wondering who's number 25, that is, of course, Bob Sanders, who did wear number 20 all year. A couple of weeks ago was at a photo shoot for the school, went to Chi-Chi's after that, left it there, and someone around town has that jersey, which will be a prized possession someday. So Sanders is wearing 25, and Sanders up doing the kicking. Ed Hinkle has kicked off at times, along with Dolak, so they haven't been able to find the mix they want at the kicking game, and hopefully that will not be an issue, but the Ramblers do lead it by the score of 6-0.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle comes out. It's a team that plays on emotion. When things go well for Newcastle, they seem to build on those types of things. It'll be interesting to see if Newcastle can overcome an early game turnover and maybe get back into the football game right away. But you got to like the way Prep has started things out here. It'll also be interesting to see what Prep does defensively. I really love the way they came out and said, we're going to stop the run. You're going to have to put the football in the air. We said it's been only one play, but it'll be interesting to see how many guys Cathedral Prep puts in the defensive box, as they like to call it.
So Sanders to kick off. This one is a squib. Taken by the up back at the 24-yard line, gets out across the 30 to the 31-yard line, and Jamie Murphy has been listening down on the sideline from what the mood is on the sideline. Jamie, what's going on?
Well, thanks a lot, guys. The assistant coaches were telling the players, whatever you do not let up. Prep goes right down the field, scores the touchdown. We have plenty of game left. They're trying to instill that into their players. Let's go back up to you guys.
Jamie down on the sideline, live throughout the night. I'm Mike Gallagher along with Brian Duffy. You're watching this live telecast on Fox 66 WFXP, Erie, Pennsylvania. 10:16 remaining first quarter. 6-0 Ramblers with the lead after the huge fumble on the first drive, and great pursuit by the defense again.
That's the speed at Cathedral Prep. I think they have a tremendous advantage speed-wise. They just flat out beat Newcastle to the corner and would not let them turn the corner. Newcastle had some blockers out on the outside. As you watch the replay, watch Newcastle pulling both their inside guards. They've got blockers out there, but watch the speed by Cathedral Prep as they do a tremendous job getting to the outside, and a big key in that play was Bob Sanders doing it defensively as he's done offensively.
Joe Cowart, the quarterback for the Red Hurricane, and he will keep it himself, taking the pitch. He gets enough for a first down as he crosses the 43, maybe to the 44-yard line, where the Red Hurricanes will have it 1st and 10.
Cowart is the guy Newcastle wants to carry the ball probably 15 times a game. They do a nice job with the option, and this time they stuck the Cathedral Prep linebackers inside, and that left Cowart to move outside. Tremendous open field tackle by the Ramblers is Ed Hinkle does a tremendous job in the open field. If Hinkle doesn't get him, Mike Cowart's still running.
So Cowart steps up under center. He has Justin Sheldon, the fullback, right behind him to give his to the fullback, and he tries for a yard or two. There's a loose ball on the turf again.
Looked like a loose ball, Mike, but I think Justin Sheldon just bounced to the outside. Nothing inside, bounced outside to the left. And again, the good pursuit by the Ramblers kept that from being what could sometimes be a big play. Sometimes when you get a big mismatch in the middle of the field, as you watch the back from Newcastle make a nice move as he bounces outside. Sheldon doing a tremendous job getting something out of really nothing.
So Cowart steps under center, slots, man split from the far side of the field. The dive right up the middle again to Justin Sheldon. And one thing about this Newcastle team, they've done it big with special teams, big defensive plays. Not really known for what they've done in moving the ball offensively, but down on the field right now, Charles Rush for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, who is not only a big threat defensively, but plays on the offensive line as well. And that could hurt.
They absolutely cannot have this right now. Charles Rush may be the best football player on this team. He has improved so much this football season from week 1 to where we are right now. He may be the best player on the team, and they cannot afford to have him out of the lineup at this point in the football game.
Since we have a break in the action, we will take a break. We're at Veterans Stadium, the PIAA Western Final. The Ramblers lead it 6-0. We're back after this. The great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. Rebates on 98 Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks are the highest in GM's history. And for $99, check out the all-new fully equipped Pontiac Grand Am SD Coupe. Buy it for $15,900 or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome to make yourself a super deal. Let's leave it with Pontiac GMC. All at one location. With the memories of last year's snowfall still in our mind, Cruz Tire Corner is ready to handle your winter tire needs. Marty Crew will be proud to show you the Dayton Winter Track Snow Radial tires. Cruz also offers Dayton and Delta passenger tires for all season traction, and the Delta Vista with a 60,000-mile written warranty would make an excellent choice. And for the budget-minded, the Dayton Quadra SE offers terrific year-round value. Stop in a Cruz Tire Corner, mention this TV ad, and receive a free winter wiper blade with the purchase of a pair of snow tires.
A message from Arthur F. Schultz, the Erie Region's Leather Authority. For quality, durability, and beauty, there's nothing like leather. Let Arthur F. Schultz's leather experts show you America's largest viewpoint leatherwork gallery. Over 30 completely accessorized rooms featuring leather furnishing. At Arthur's Leatherworks, factory direct custom orders mean 30 to 40% every day. Quality at affordable prices. Guaranteed low prices and customer satisfaction. Arthur F. Schultz has it.
We're back live at Veterans Stadium. There you see Charles Rush, the sophomore lineman, offensively, defensively, is out. We will find out and get an injury report for you as quickly as we can. But this is a tough break for the Cathedral Park Ramblers, and this is the first quarter of this ball game. Coward to throw, pressure by the defense, stepping up big is Dupree with a huge play, who is another defensive threat for the Cathedral Park Ramblers.
And another sophomore, Mike. I mean, we keep talking about these sophomores on this team, and Dupree just does a tremendous job, basically unblocked, and he comes blasting through the line. And I'll tell you what he did. He broke down awfully well to make the tackle, and sometimes in those situations you can get juked a little bit, but Dupree broke down, made the tackle.
So with 4th down and a long 12, Newcastle to punt. Low liner. It's Hinkle taking it back at his 24, has room over the middle, breaks free. Hinkle gets away. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Cathedral Prep. Ed Hinkle returns it for the touchdown, and the Ramblers just like that have a 2-score lead here in the first quarter.
No flag, special teams, Mike. We don't want to pound on it, but Cathedral Prep missed the next point early on, but now they come back with a special team flag. They get a 12-point lead. Let's see if the Ramblers are going to go for 2 here, Mike. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Mishner goes for 2 in this situation to get the 2 back. We saw a tremendous seam open up right here, a number of tremendous blocks, but I'll tell you what, Hinkle did a lot of this on his own. Newcastle just broke down in their lanes, and Hinkle was gone, outran everybody to the secondary. A tremendous job, as you see, tremendous foot speed by Ed Hinkle into the end zone.
And he's outrunning number 81, Pat Kane, who is the punter, who is also one of their premier athletes on the team. He's a tight end, but he's got a lot of speed. He's tall, but he couldn't catch Ed Hinkle, as the Ramblers will now go for 2 to try and make it a complete 2-touchdown lead at 14-0 if they can convert. So they have it at the 3 of Newcastle. The pitch outside goes to Easter, and he can't quite get to the end zone. So the Ramblers are up 12-0 with 7:28 to go in the first quarter. And we talked about special teams. They come up with a huge play on that one.
Well, Mike Mishler was very, very disappointed down on the sideline, but you got to get past that. You look at the scoreboard. We're winning this football game. Cathedral Prep saying to themselves, we're winning this football game 12-0 with 7:28 to go in the game. We know we're playing an emotional team, and we know we now have them back on their heels. We're going to find out a lot about Newcastle right now, what kind of football team they have, what type of mentality they have, if they can fight and work their way back into the football game.
And it looks like Charles Rush may be heading to the locker room. He is still limping. He is being helped by the trainer. I believe Jamie Murphy is down on the field. Jamie, can you tell us anything at this point? Right now, Charles Rush being helped off the field right now. They say it is an ankle sprain. Of course, the trainer said he's having problems walking on it. At least made him smile with a touchdown. And the trainers also said this kid is the toughest kid in the whole world. So we should see Charles Rush back in the game. Back up to you guys. Thank you, Jamie Murphy. So Charles Rush being helped. And interesting note about Charles Rush, Duff. He wears number 59, the same number his uncle, Yogi Jones, wore at the University of Pittsburgh when Joe Moore was an offensive line coach for the Panthers. So another Pitt connection, not only Joe Moore, who was the offensive line coach, but this kid is the nephew of Yogi Jones, and hopefully he will return to this football game.
Well, Pitt would love to have him, I can tell you that, in 2 years. If Rush grows another inch or two, Mike, major Division I college prospect. He's probably going to be a Division I player already, as long as he stays healthy at 6'2", 270, but this guy has all the potential in the world.
The Sanders kick comes to one of the upbacks.
Much better kick, too.
Gets a little breathing room and works his way for a nice return out across the 31-yard line. John Rosati, or correction, Jeff Scrim on the return. So Newcastle will take over at their own 31-yard line, trailing by 12, 7:20 remaining first quarter, and this the PIAA Western Final. And Pat Coward has his work cut out for him, but as we pointed out, Pat Kane, who is his big receiver, had a huge catch in the Whitfield Championship.
Prep is just stacking for the run, Mike. They're absolutely daring the Newcastle team to try and beat them through the air. Prep obviously at this point doesn't think Newcastle can put the football in the air. Newcastle will have to prove it before Prep's going to change their defense. Now, granted, Newcastle doesn't get a lot of guys split wide, so you're going to be able to keep some guys in, but they are not showing a lot of respect right now. Watch how close in the safeties are. We get a wide shot, you'll be able to see the Cathedral Prep safeties. Sanders, look how they're stacked. They are only 6 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Looking to throw, semi-roll left is Coward, knocked away by Ed Hinkle.
Oh, boy, that's what called that one. It went right through Hinkle's head. Well, Newcastle's seeing the same thing we are, obviously. They know more about football than we do, and they can see that the safeties are only 6 yards off the line of scrimmage. You got to throw the football.
Well, Ed Hinkle is the guy who in the second overtime came up with the interception against State College to give the Ramblers the ball back and ultimately the win in that game just 1 week ago on this very field on Saturday afternoon.
He'd like to have another shot at that one, too, I can tell you. That was one that Ed Hinkle is going to catch a lot of times.
Justin Sheldon, the fullback. Austin Gordon in the backfield. Coward looking for someone to pitch it to. The ball's on the turf, but it looks like Gordon may have fallen back on it.
Boy, I love Prep defensively right now, Mike. They just have it going on. Newcastle has had tremendous field position because Prep hasn't done a great job kicking off. Newcastle has some good field position, and Prep has just absolutely stuffed them defensively. The schemes right now that Cathedral Prep has come up, right now they're out coaching Newcastle, but there's a long way to go. Newcastle's head coach, Coach Schooley, is a tremendous football coach. And a great thing about football, Mike, good teams make adjustments during the games. Bad teams make adjustments for the next game.
It's low, it's short, takes a hop. Going to have to back away from it where Newcastle will down it at the 35-yard line. Darrell Atkins with the down. So the Ramblers will take over at the 35, and we'll get to see the offense in work.
Yeah, we didn't with Cathedral Prep. We saw a little bit of it. Would they have the ball when they got that fumble the first time, Mike? They had tremendous field position, so we really haven't seen the Prep offense all that much.
As we take the score, take a look at it on the scoreboard. Again, not able to get the extra points and get the 2-point conversion. And you still hope that doesn't come back to haunt you. You've got to be cognizant of that and really try and put points on the board against this Newcastle team, because the other thing about this Newcastle team, Duff, is they have been able to really come back in games that they've been trailing.
Yeah, it's been surprising because they don't seem like they're a team that is built to come back, but they have been able to do it. But we've talked about that early in the show. The big play capability of Newcastle, you got to watch out for that. I'll tell you what, though, North Allegheny in the Whitfield Championship game only scored 7 points in the whole football game. That's how good Newcastle's defense is. Cathedral Prep already has 12, so right there, Cathedral Prep's ahead of the game. You score 12 points a quarter, and you're going to walk out here with 48 points. I don't think anybody expects to see that. But right now, you got to like the way things are going for Prep.
Certainly are going well, but this is a chance for the offense to really try and get it in gear and get it moving and try and sustain a drive. They have so many weapons in the backfield with Damon Sanders and Jason Easter, along with Steve Noonan and Chad Lino at fullback. And then you look at the receiving corps. They are young as they split out now to the far side out of the I formation. Josh Lustig with Eric Carlson under center. Carlson goes with the pitch to Lon Sanders. Sanders fights for a yard, maybe a couple, and picks up a few where the Ramblers will have it second down. So second down and 7, they're calling it a pickup of 3.
Good push by the Cathedral Prep offensive line. Great pull inside by Jeff Bomba doing a nice job opening up the block, and the Ramblers picked up a good solid 3 on the play.
Out of the I formation, Carlson gives to the tailback Sanders, a flag down on the play. Bill Caparola.
Didn't see what the flag might have been, Mike, but from that position, from that referee throwing the flag, it could have been a false start or an offsides on Newcastle.
And we have a false start indication by our referee. So that will back the Ramblers up 5 yards and make it second down and 12.
This might give us an opportunity to see Cathedral Prep get the ball up in the air. I really, really feel that this Prep team can throw the football on Newcastle. I think they can run on it. I think Cathedral Prep can move the football on this team. But I really think that before this game is over, you're going to see Prep do some damage through the air.
And the official call is illegal procedure against the Ramblers. Back them up 5, second down and 12. We'll see if Carlson goes to the air. We talked about Josh Lustig and Garrett Mays. Mays has been a big play guy, really, from the midpoint of the season throughout. In every big game, he seems to have a huge reception. We'll see if that's where Carlson goes this time as he goes out of the I formation. Mays split to their side, Lustig to the far side. He's looking for Mays and overthrows him.
Well, that's only the second pass that Carlson has had the opportunity to throw, and the nerves still might be there for the offensive guys, Mike. They really haven't been able to get in the football game. They didn't get their feet wet. They had that 4 or 5 play drive that ended up in the first touchdown of the game, but they'll settle down in another throwing situation, so let's see where they go. Maybe look for a draw here if they're trying to catch Newcastle off guard.
So they will again go out of the I formation. Mays to the near side, Lustig to the far side. Carlson steps up, and I believe it's Newcastle that takes a timeout. And there is a timeout on the field, and Newcastle will take a timeout at this point, obviously seeing something that they did not like. It was basically out of the I formation.
They didn't have personnel in the game, Mike. They only had 10 players out on the field, and Coach Schooley has given it to number 62 for Newcastle, who wasn't on the field. That DJ Ryan wasn't where he was supposed to be for Newcastle, and that's a big timeout. That costs you timeout. We get down to the end of the first half, and you need those timeouts, and that could hurt Newcastle.
So there's 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. A great opening quarter for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, leading 12-0. If you take away the injury to Charles Rush, who is being looked at on the sideline by Dr. Fessler, I believe Dr. Rayner was looking, and he's starting to jog a little bit, Dub, so it looks like Jamie's report may be holding true with Charles Rush, and maybe Jamie will talk to the doctors and see if they are going to give him the okay to head back into this football game. But I tell you, this young man is going to do everything possible. He has simply played like a true veteran and outstanding defensively and offensively for the Ramblers.
Well, I want to see him jog back on the field. That's what I'm waiting to see. He's jogging on the sideline, but we'll be a lot happier when he jogs on the field.
So it's Carlson again out of the I formation with the roll up, looking downfield, getting pressure from behind, throws back and complete to Ed Hinkle for the first down at the 48-yard line of Newcastle.
They can throw it. I'm telling you, Prep can throw the football on this team. Newcastle has played some tremendous defense all year, but I don't think they've seen the skill-type people that Cathedral Prep has. Watch the patience by Eire Carlson. This is tremendous. A lot of quarterbacks would get out here. Feels a little pressure inside. The Ramblers do a nice job defensively keeping the pressure off of him. Daryl Atkins was all over him, but Carlson, tremendous patience, and gets the throw off.
As Carlson keeps it himself, picks up about 3. The Ramblers trying to take off time and to move the football in a possession. And the first true possession from their own end for the Ramblers to see if the offense can really control the ball. And that was Steve Noonan with the carry. Give deep in the backfield to Ron Sanders. Sanders gets out near the 40. He'll be a few yards short. But Jamie Murphy is ready on the sideline with an update, James.
Charles Russell's ankle, it's his right ankle, is heavily taped, and the trainers have got him back on his feet. Putting back his shoe on was extremely painful for Charles, but he's starting to trot on it. The only question will be if he can stop and turn on that ankle. Back up to you.
Thank you, Jamie Murphy, and hopefully we'll see Rush return to the Rambler lineup.
He's going to play, Mike. I'm watching him down on the sidelines, and I'd be real surprised if we didn't see him.
Gives straight up the middle to Sanders, bounces outside before he meets a couple of Newcastle high defenders, does not get enough for the first down.
Yeah, it depends on the spot. He had some forward progress, and they're getting a pretty favorable spot. They are going to be a little bit short. Brings up probably a punting situation for Cathedral Prep. Great penetration by the Newcastle defense. They did a tremendous job stuffing up the run, and then great pursuit down the line and some big-time tackling by Newcastle. That's a big possession for Newcastle. They really couldn't let Cathedral Prep go on an extended drive there. They might have been knocked out of the football game if Prep could have kept moving the football.
So the Ramblers to punt. Garrett Mays, the wide receiver who handles the punting. And he squibs it out of bounds. Not a great punt. We'll see where they mark it.
Wow. 27-yard line.
27-yard line of Newcastle where they will have possession at 1st and 10. 12-0 Ramblers lead it. If you're just tuning in, you're watching this PIAA Western Final live on Fox 66 WFXP. Mike Gallagher along with Brian Duffy and Jamie Murphy calling the action for you, and happy to bring it to you as the Ramblers try to advance to the state championship game, and they lead early on. Pat Kane comes split to the near side of the field. Joe Cowart is your quarterback, and there's a scramble on the field. The ball is loose.
Newcastle in their offensive set might stretch the field incredibly, much more than they have been. Tommy Morgan, the Cathedral Prep safety, was a good 15, 16, 17 yards off the ball. Illegal motion on Newcastle, so that's going to set up probably a 1st and 15. But Newcastle has seen that already, and they're going to have to spread out the Prep defense because they will not be able to run against Cathedral Prep if they stay in those same steps that they've used on their first 3 possessions.
So the Red Hurricanes have it 1st and 15 at the 22-yard line. They'll go out of the I formation, not spreading it nearly as wide this time. The give is straight in the backfield, and hit hard is Austin Gordon. And great penetration by the Rambler defensive line.
Even on 1st and 15, Prep's looking for the run. Not looking for the pass, looking for the run. I tell you, Prep is getting some people free in the Newcastle backfield. I mean, at that time, Dupree was not even blocked at all. He's in the backfield, and that sets up a 2nd and 17. And for a team that doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence throwing the football, it doesn't seem like a good situation for the Hurricanes.
Cowart given the backfield to Gordon Austin, who's got some running room and gets enough for a 1st down, or at least close to the 1st down.
Good draw play by Newcastle. You know, that shows you where they think the strength of their football team is. Not in the air, but on the ground. Great trap action inside, and good spring block by Newcastle on the offensive line. Nicholas Marmo doing a nice job blasting open the hole, and some quickness inside by Newcastle shown by their offensive line.
3rd and less than 1. Justin Sheldon is the fullback. Gordon Austin behind him out of the I formation. Cowart keeps it himself and appears to have gotten the 1st down. And they are going to mark it and call it a 1st down. where the Red Hurricanes will now take it first and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Just over a minute 30 to go in the first quarter, with the Ramblers leading at 12-0, and this is the PIAA Western Final. In motion, the give in the backfield, and a couple of yards on the carry is John Rosati.
Good confidence builder, I think, Mike, for Newcastle. They've got a second and 17, and they're able to convert. That'll get their offense going just a little bit, and that's something that Newcastle desperately need. An official's timeout right now on the field, Mike. I think we've got an equipment problem with the Ramblers. Chad Lino with a little trouble with the old bean holder.
A minute and 3 left until the first quarter expires. The Ramblers want to hold on to a lead for that quarter, as it's second down and 7 for Newcastle at the 48. The pitch goes wide to John Rosati. Rosati gets some good yardage. He'll be out near a Newcastle first down.
Caught in a little blitz action that time. Dupree blitzed from his left linebacker position, was in the backfield, but Newcastle had the right play call for the blitz. They went to the left side. Rosati came in on the right side and was out of the play.
Third down and 1 for Newcastle. Ball spotted at the 48, but it's a long one. Pat Cowart steps up under center. Man split to the far side. He's got Justin Sheldon in a fullback. Motion in the backfield. I believe it was Gordon Austin or John Rosati. John Rosati who moves. And that will back them up, and that hurts.
Yeah, that's a mistake. That's one of those mistakes we talked about early. Right now, Newcastle is making all the mistakes. They made the mistake with the fumble early on. They've had bad field position. They made a huge mistake special teams-wise that led to the second Cathedral Prep touchdown. Now, I mean, what's the difference between 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 6? It's absolutely huge, especially when we're harping on it again, when you may not have tremendous confidence throwing the football.
So third down and a long 6, 10 seconds to go in the quarter. They may just let the clock run out and take a break and talk about it on the sideline. 4 seconds, 3, and they will. The first quarter comes to an end. The Ramblers lead it 12-0, and this, the final, you're watching it live on Fox 66.
Great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. We make our 98 Pontiac, Buick, and GMC trucks are the highest in GM's history. And for $99, check out the all-new fully equipped Pontiac Grand Am SD Coupe. Buy it for $15,900 or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome to make yourself a super deal. Buick Cleaver, Buick Pontiac GMC, all at one location.
Are you looking for employment?
Or a better paying career?
Employment opportunities are available now at Career Concepts.
A plastic process engineer is needed in the Erie area, paying $40 to $48K.
A machining supervisor with CNC experience, $35 to $45K.
A position is open in plastic mold setup, paying $8 to $9 per hour.
Openings in shipping and receiving, $6 to $7.50 per hour.
A part-time executive assistant with computer experience, $7.50 an hour.
Full-time accounts payable clerk if needed, paying $7 to $8 per hour.
Career Concepts, your staffing headquarters.
Your family. People who are there for you. People you trust. People that make you comfortable. Sound familiar?
Hi, I'm Chuck Fuller from Patterson & Sterling. We've been in business for over 140 years.
All our dealers have been the Lennox Quality Dealer Standards program.
Give Patterson & Sterling a call for all your home heating and cooling needs, and tell me if you want portrait or wallet size.
Next, one less thing to worry about. You're watching Erie's Fox 66.
We are back live at the PIAA Western Final. The Ramblers lead at 12-0. Let's check in with Jamie Murphy. Jim?
This first quarter has gone exactly the way Preppers wanted, but the offensive line coach and Mike Winkler, ex-offensive line, is not happy with Matthew Parson, the sophomore guard, who misses assignment. Lamont Sanders not picking up a lot of yards. They gave him a talking to. He should respond. Back up to you.
Thank you, Jamie. And Matt Parsons has played huge as a sophomore in the past, and we're sure he will. In fact, he was one of our athletes of the week this past week for his efforts as they try to go over the middle with a center screen, and it doesn't go as he looks
for Pat Kane coming across the middle. And Kane's a big play guy, Duff. When he does connect, that's the guy he goes to. Yeah, and there's an example there of Cathedral Prep forcing the issue, forcing a pass by Newcastle, a situation where they're not comfortable, and wasn't a real good looking effort by Cowart. Obviously, he's been able to get the ball to Kane in the pass because Kane's made a tremendous amount of big plays. But through one quarter and one play in the second quarter, Mike, it does not look at all like Newcastle can do much through the air. They had a second on the clock and didn't officially take the quarter break at the quarter because the officials stopped the clock. So they're taking a break now. Will change sides. Well, we wondered why they were still going in the same direction that they were going in the first quarter. But fourth down situation for Newcastle now. Mike, they're forced to punt. This might be a situation where Coach Schooley from Newcastle feels he's got to do something to help his team. They've got to watch fake punt here. The field position is you're in a spot right now where you can take a chance and go with a fake punt from this situation. It would set up great field position for Cathedral Prep, but you are almost at midfield. And talking about that offensive line of Cathedral Prep, they will get the ball here as Newcastle getting set to punt. Pat Kane set the punt. 6'5", 225 pounds, standing on his 31-yard line, gets some pressure. It gets this one away. Ed Hinkle backs up on it. It gets by him. He'll let it roll out of bounds, so the Ramblers will take over at about the 12-yard line. And the offensive unit for the Ramblers have a chance to move the ball now, starting on their own 11-yard line. What's great about the Ramblers, Duff, in this situation is the potent running game. Yeah, right here is, we've been talking about how we'd like to see Prep get the ball up in the air a little bit. Right here, you're in a little iffy field position. You can't afford to make a mistake. They can pound it out here, get it going with Sanders, Easter, and Noon, get them the ball, and try and chunk up a little turf here. Flip backs. Fumble straight up the middle. Ball's on the turf. Newcastle has the football. They will take over deep in Ramblers territory. John Chimenti, Mike, recovered the fumble from Newcastle. That's just, you can't have that in that situation. I mean, we've got to remember that kids playing the game. But, that's just, we talked about the emotion that Newcastle likes to play on, and this puts them right back in the football game if they can be pounded in the end zone. Let's see what Prep's defense can do. Nothing, Ramblers lead. See if they can shut them down. But it's first and goal on the Rambler 8-yard line for Pat Cowart and the Red Hurricanes. The give is in the backfield to Gordon Austin, and he's into the end zone. 8-yard touchdown run. The Hurricanes are on the scoreboard. Well, that's a huge mistake by the Ramblers. The kind of thing you just can't afford to have a fumble. Go down far on your end. Newcastle blew a huge hole open in the Cathedral Prep offensive line and did a great job getting the ball in the end zone. Gordon Austin with some good quicks into the zone, and Prep just barely gets a couple hands on him as he scoots his way through the end zone. Remember at the top of the show, Mike, we talked about the emotion that Newcastle likes to play on. Let's see what this does to their football team. On to attempt the extra point. Pasquale Romano converts. It's good, no, wide right. He indicated it was good, but the official said otherwise. So, like the Ramblers, they can't convert on the extra point. The Ramblers still lead it by 6 at 12-6 with 11:43 remaining in the first half. This is turning into a ball game. Now, this is tough for Cathedral Prep because I'll tell you what, Newcastle has done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing offensively, and they've got they're right back in the football game. Prep has done a tremendous job defensively. They've done a good job with their return game. They've moved the football at times, haven't come up with a big, huge drive, but mistakes will just absolutely kill you. Newcastle found that out when they fumbled on the first play of the game, and Prep just found it out now. So basically, they've traded mistakes and traded touchdowns, and the difference in the game right now is the special teams play. So how important are mistakes and special teams in football games? So the second quarter is starting for Newcastle, the way the first quarter did start for the Ramblers. And Newcastle now trails the Ramblers by 6 points. They will kick off to Cathedral Prep.
will kick off for Newcastle. And the Ramblers, certainly with big players on special teams already in this ball game, can certainly use one now, if for nothing else, than to get the momentum going back their way. Yeah, that's it right now. That's what you worry about when you play Newcastle. From everybody I've talked to down in the Pittsburgh area about this team, this is when they are absolutely tough. When they can start sniffing things going their way, they pounce on it, and they do it with their defense. So they get the big defensive play, the offense pushes it in on one play, now they're going to look to their defense to come up with another big play. Newcastle has done this all year. The defense sets up the offense. This is a defensive-oriented football team, and they're going to come right after up. Watch them come hard with blitzes, and the Ramblers get the football back. How about the block there? How about the block in the middle of the field? Cathedral Prep, Chad Lino did a tremendous job wiping out one of the Newcastle Red kids. And opened it up to the launch. Nice return, so the Ramblers will start at the 34-yard line. Take a look at the return. See if we get a good look at the block here that Lino put on somebody from Newcastle. You'll see the bodies flipping up in the air. Yeah, you know, we just happened to miss it on that fielding, but we had a great shot of it. Thanks, guys, in the overhead camera. Caught in the backfield. There's the blitzing. There's the emotion. That's what we talked about. You got to watch it. Newcastle's going to come at you with the blitz, and they can flip things turning their way, and that's exactly what they did. We got a tremendous on that, and so that's exactly what they did. Now they set up the situation. Penetrates the offensive line to get into the backfield of the Ramblers and cause havoc. Carlson and Lino in the backfield, and Sanders behind Lino. Played it straight up that time. Good pressure though. To the outside. Boy, there's the emotion. There is the emotion they talk about it. Daryl Atkins coming, doing a tremendous job from the outside. Atkins didn't get distracted. I don't know what kind of play they have for the third and forever, but right now the Ramblers just need to get a chunk of real estate so they can get in position to make a punt. Carlson straight back, and boy, he doesn't even get a chance to set up when he gets pressured up in the pocket, and Atkins just levels it. One thing about Carlson, though, he's very tough, can take a hit, and does not get rattled easily, but now a passing situation for certain for the Ramblers. Twins to the near side of the field, rolling right is Carlson, looking downfield, now he wants to keep it, runs into one of his own linemen, but finally goes down at about the 40-yard line. Good decision by Carlson. Nobody was open down the field. You don't take your chances throwing the football and creating more emotion for Newcastle with the interception. And the Newcastle fans are now into the football game, Mike. They pretty much sat on their hands for the first quarter, but as you watch Carlson, great mobility to the outside. And we talked about the decision he made early on as he had the tremendous patience. Again, tremendous patience, nothing open. Carlson gets what he can to try and set up some room for his punter. Garrett Mays to punt, standing on his own 10-yard line. This punt is high. Fair catch called for and taken at about the 48-yard line by Jeff Scrim. Newcastle will have it in great position at the 48, 9:35 remaining in the second quarter. 12-6, Ramblers lead. Now here's where Prep can get some of that emotion back. Newcastle wants to do things defensively and set up their offense. They set them up in pretty good field position, but still they're going to have to prove they can move the football on Cathedral Prep if they're going to tie this game or take a lead. Give it to the tailback. John Rosati gets maybe a yard. Rick Kaczynski really going at his offensive lineman on the Cathedral Prep sideline. He was not happy with the blitz protection that set up the third down. On the first half, Steve Noonan on the rushing department. Steve Noonan 2 for 7 yards. Sanders 5 for 11. Total rushing yards of 18. Total passing yards 24. 13 of those to Mays, and Lustig with 13 yards. 9 in the box for Cathedral Prep. The whistle is blown. It's not going to count. The whistle has definitely blown. It will not count. 9 in the box for Cathedral Prep on a second down. I tell you, Newcastle is going to have to do something offensively. I know they got the emotion moving their way, but actually the officials on this play, Blake,
forward progress. And so the play was blown dead right here. Maybe it was just criticized the officials by any means, but looked like there was just some feet moving there, and maybe there was a quick whistle, and that might have cost us there.
And John Sitter was looking at pay dirt, but the whistle blows it dead and it doesn't go. Cowart steps under center, brings the man in motion to the near side of the field, back to throw, looking to the sideline, now he's going to keep it. Gets 1, maybe 2 yards on the pickup.
Then the passing game, in those third and longs, it's going to stay up there, a 12-6 football game for a while. Offensively here, we need another good return right here. Right here to get a little field position back.
0 for 2 in the passing department in the first quarter.
No yards.
0 yards for Newcastle.
And they only rushed for 38, Mike. Offensively, we've not been impressed at all with Newcastle. Scouting reports from the people we talked to, that's a false start there. It wasn't called. Newcastle moved way early.
Sanders takes it back at the 5. Isn't the old rule at the 10, you let it go into the end zone?
If you're standing on the 10 line, yard line, you let it go. And that's a real special teams mistake, but that's a young guy back there. Mike, just like in the last series when they fumbled, they've got to be very, very careful. Here's defensively, they're going to come at him right here, look for more blitzes, trying to create a turnover.
So the Ramblers will have it, first down and 10, at the 10-yard line. Sanders tries and breaks one tackle with good effort to pick up 7, maybe 8 yards. That's the quickness
Outside, like the people press. I mean, it looks like they're a little bit faster than everybody in pursuit. As you watch, Sanders looks like he's right up the line of scrimmage. Right here, they've got some penetration, but Sanders keeps working, he keeps working. He's just too fast for the Newcastle people who can't get themselves in good position to make a tackle. I mean, he just outruns Daryl Atkins, and we've seen how good he was with a couple of stacks earlier in the last period.
Sanders comes to the sideline. Jason Easter, the sophomore, 5'7", 155 pounds, is now your tailback. Ed Hinkle comes in motion. Carlson looks at the defensive end and has to try and get something.
Blitz action there by Newcastle. Stuffed that play right there. Perfect blitz call for the play.
6:23 remaining in the second quarter. Ramblers as Josh Lustig takes the play into Eric Carlson.
Taking a little bit of time here to get the play in. Pep's got to be careful with the play.
Third down and 5.
The back judge watch as we get ready for this play.
At the 15 out of the I formation. Mays comes in motion. The pitch goes to the outside to Easter, who breaks free, gets deep into the secondary, picks up the first down, and gets out across the 41-yard line where he's brought down by Mike Gorilla.
Pure speed, Mike. Absolute pure speed. Prep has definitely beating Newcastle to the corner. All this is a pitch by Carlson, and he gets back east and says, here, you do something with the football. The people Prep had some people out, but I tell you what, as good as Prep's offensive line is, Jason Easter had a lot to do with that play. He got a lot of those yards by himself.
Ed Hinkle in it, wide out, split. He's in tight. Garrett Mays to the far side. Hinkle goes in motion. Lino the fullback. Easter the tailback. The pitch is to Easter. Tries to get outside, but doesn't turn the corner.
Good job by the Newcastle corner on that play. I mean, for once, Jeff Scrim comes up real hard on his job defensively, and they're going to have to do that. The corner, they're going to have to make tackles for Newcastle if they're going to slow down the Prep outside rushing game.
Well, if you are Newcastle, Sanders goes to the sideline. Easter comes in, and then you've got Steve Noonan as well, so they've got some potent tailbacks in the backfield for Cathedral Prep. Man coming in motion is Tom Morgan for the Ramblers. The Givers in the backfield. Pickup of 1, maybe 2. Tripped up the line is Easter.
Newcastle's John Van Selvich did a nice job on that play as he forced Carlson to make a decision with the ball real quick. Watch how quick Carlson has to get rid of the ball. Joseph's doing a nice job, and that way now your linebackers can make the reads and go directly at the running back. That's why the option's so tough sometimes, because you don't know where your read's going to be. But when you get a quick pitch like that, it makes your job a lot easier.
Out of the eye, Carlson rolling in trouble, gets rid of the ball, and goes incomplete. He was certainly being pressured.
I'll tell you, that Atkins is a load on the end. He's done a tremendous job. We saw him miss a tackle. He's a load, too. Atkins has been in the middle of everything that has happened good for Newcastle defensively. Tough blocking assignment for Lino on the corner, and they're unable to handle Atkins, who is a big fella and a big-time player. Slim and trim. Atkins doing a great job on the corner. Got a penalty, Mike. I think it was an illegal substitution.
Going against Newcastle or against Newcastle?
Newcastle.
And they're going to walk it off.
But I'm not sure when the illegal substitution happened, because I didn't see it before the play. And that's huge, because even if the Ramblers don't get the first down here, it gives them a little more room for their fire to work. And remember how important field position is.
So 3rd down and 2, Carlson again out of the I formation, brings Hinkle, and somebody moves. The first one's going to go against Newcastle, coming across the neutral zone, and Carlson white 22, so that will give the Ramblers a first down.
Carlson probably using a good hard count. He's wearing number 7. And I'll tell you what, the guy in the NFL that does that tremendously well is number 7 for the Denver Broncos. That's kind of league is doing it. That's what Carlson was able to do with the hard count and drawing Newcastle offside.
The officials will give us a break at the next possession, and that's the rule in the PIAA. 4:19 remaining in the second quarter. 12-6 Ramblers lead. Do not let television stop momentum, right there?
That's what they say.
Out of the I formation, Hinkle to the near side. Carlson rolling right. Has time, looks downfield, knocked up in the air. He's looking for Garrett Mays. Stepping up at him was Pat Kane. Also is a big play for Newcastle.
Not a great decision by Carlson. We've talked a lot about how smart he has been with the football. He showed good patience, but there was nothing there. Carlson is going to throw this football into double coverage, and he really got away with one there. There were 2 guys for Newcastle in position to pick off that football. Cathedral Prep's going to call timeout, Mike.
So with that timeout, we'll take a break. We're in the second quarter, 4:12 remaining, 12-6. The Ramblers lead. Don't go away. We're back with more after this. The great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. We base our 98 Pontiac, Buick, and GMC trucks are the highest in GM's history. And for $99, check out the all-new fully equipped Pontiac Grand Am SD Coupe. Buy it for $15,900, or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome to make yourself a super deal. Let's leave it with Pontiac GMC. All at one location. Are you looking for employment?
Or a better paying career?
Employment opportunities are available now at Career Concepts.
Process engineer is needed in the Erie area, paying $40 to $48K.
A machining supervisor with school experience, $35 to $45K.
Position is open in process mold setup, paying $8 to $9 per hour.
Openings in shipping and receiving, $6 to $7.50 per hour.
A part-time executive assistant with computer experience, $7.50 an hour.
Full-time accounts payable clerk is needed, paying $7 to $8 per hour.
Career Concepts, your staffing headquarters.
Silk Screen Unlimited and Erie Tradition for screen printing, embroidery, engraving, and specialized products for your school, club, business, or organization. Listen to what their customers have to say.
I've been having customers for over 3 years at Silk Screen Unlimited. Roy Block has been providing our company with windbreakers, t-shirts, and that's giving my employees a very professional look on the job site.
Silk Screen Unlimited, where you're guaranteed to get quality work. Call 1-800-724-1683 or stop by today.
We're back live at Veterans Stadium. There you see the score, 12-6, the Ramblers with the lead, and certainly trying to maintain that lead for this, the PIAA Western Final. Governor Tom Ridge, a graduate of Cathedral Prep High School. You know, Duff, when we went to states with the basketball team a few years ago, the governor was there as well, and he's here tonight. Not as the governor, but as a Cathedral Prep fan. Excited about the play of his alma mater give it to Steve Noonan. Noonan battles for a yard, maybe two. Maybe we can check in with Jamie and get an update. Jamie, what's going on down on the field? Newcastle's Daryl Aikens, probably the most important player in the defense. Burner in his right shoulder. He's working back for Carl Rush. He's still walking on his ankle. He's probably listed as questionable about coming back maybe in the second half. Back up to you.
Thank you very much, James. Updated on the situation on the sideline. Again, Topeka Prep very fortunate. They've got the doctors down on the sideline along with the trainer and Doc Rayner, who's been a big supporter of Topeka Prep for so many years. And hopefully things will go in favor of the Ramblers injury-wise. And Carlson's done our roll right now, looking to throw, looks downfield, motioning, keeps it, and works to get a couple of yards.
He's their big right tackle, and if Rush isn't there offensively, and that's the way Prep rolled on that play. So, I mean, he's a big contributor on both sides of the football, maybe more so on the defensive side.
So 4th down and 3, Garrett Mays standing at his 45-yard line to punt it away to Newcastle High School. Mays with the snap, gets it up in the air, taken at the 17, missed tackle, looking to break through, gets out across the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. Then Newcastle will take over.
It's been a tremendous 4 or 5 minutes for Prep, Mike. All the momentum has swung back into Newcastle's favor, and Cathedral Prep did a good job defensively holding on to it. And although they didn't get any points on this last drive, Prep did a good job picking up 3 or 4 first downs, keeping Newcastle's defense on the field, trying and wearing them out, and they were able to hold on to their 12-6 lead.
Another Rambler down on the field at this time. Try and get a number and see who it is.
Mike Cray is what the guys are telling us in the truck, and that's exactly who it is, Mike. And he took a big-time pop right in at the gut from Quayle Davis from Newcastle, and he may, we don't want to, I know you're a medical doctor, Mike, maybe you a little bit better on this, but it looked like he may just have the wind knocked out.
Well, it's an interesting point because several weeks ago in the district playoffs, we had the story on Mary McQuaid, the trainer from General McLean High School, where an athlete thought he was just winded. She made the call with a ruptured spleen. Before the third quarter of that game had even ended, that young man was on the operating table having his spleen removed, and that was a great call by the trainer, and I'm sure they'll check Gray out the same way and make sure he's okay. But hopefully he is just winded. Coward steps up under center, brings a man in motion, Kings put to the far side of the field, gives it to the tailback, who spins. And it's John Rosati.
Counteraction, key action by Newcastle, and they're looking to do things to try and start up right now. Did a pretty good job getting about 4 or 5 there inside with some trap action. Newcastle offensively has not done a whole lot. They're pretty fortunate they're in the football game at this point, I think, Mike. We're going to have to see what they do. It'll be very interesting to see what they do in the second half as they try and adjust offensively to what Prep's doing defensively. But again, Prep safeties now 6 yards off the ball, and that's the problem when you got your safety 6 yards off the ball.
And Gordon Austin with a huge pickup for Newcastle. Now they're in deep and Topeka Prep territory, down to about the 31-yard line, Duff, and that does hurt.
And that's going to loosen up Topeka Prep safety. Topeka Prep is very fortunate. They've done a great job defensively this whole half, but right there, Newcastle gets the lane. The offensive line, for really the first time, opens up the lane for Newcastle. When you have the safeties only 6 yards off the ball, that doesn't leave people in the back to make tackles. If the offensive line can keep making those holes, they're going to get some big runs.
Josh Lustig was the one who dragged him down, but here goes Austin again with running room, breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, before he's finally corralled at the 11-yard line. And this Gordon Austin is coming up huge. They got the second quarter with the exact same play.
They went to the exact same play, and Austin did it again. Again, he got a big run. Again, he got safety for 5, 6, 7 yards off the ball. And the Ramblers, they want to get a time out. I could talk this over just a little bit, but there you see what can happen when you dare a team to throw the ball and you get running lanes. You don't always have to get deep through the air when you're playing that type of scheme, You can get beaten other ways if you can develop running lanes, and that's what Newcastle has done on 2 plays.
There is a timeout on the field. 2:09 remaining in the second quarter. They're going to talk this one over. Gordon Austin, the senior, 5'7", 160 pounds. So there's that senior leadership that they do have that can keep them in a ball game. They started out down 12-0. If you are joining us late, the Ramblers were up 12-0 early in this ball game thanks to a fumble turnover that ended up in a Sanders touchdown and a Hinkle punt return for 76 yards for a touchdown for the Ramblers. Not able to convert the 2-point conversion on the second touchdown. Not able to convert the extra point. That's where the 12 comes from. Newcastle gets 6 on the board, but unable to convert the extra point. So that's where our score stands at 12-6. 2:09 remaining, and we are happy to report we believe we may have confirmation. The governor may join us at halftime to talk about his alma mater, Mr. Tom Ridge, and we'll find out if he's governor tonight or a Rambler fan, probably a little of both, I'm sure. The state's in good hands. Last time I checked, I think Newcastle was in the state. First down and 10 at the 12-yard line for Newcastle High School. Coward on the option, keeps, turns upfield and gets maybe a yard or two. Good pursuit by Dupree, getting down the line from the spot and ran down Coward. Tremendous speed in their defensive backs and their linebackers and their offensive play right there. Dupree was just faster than Coward. Coward scored the winning touchdown 1 week ago in the Whitfield Championship. After a couple of big plays, big defensive play, and a big block punt. And the give is on the reverse around and into the end zone for the touchdown. Newcastle is back on the board. Jeff Trim getting in on that end around. So running lane, like they developed running lanes in that. They're getting tremendous play by their offensive line. Cathedral Prep is missing Charles Rush right now. There's no question about it. Great running lane. Look at the hole there. You talk about a hole really isn't the right word. It's a lane, and that's what Newcastle has been able to get over the last 3 or 4 plays. A running lane, and Cathedral Prep, I think, Mike, starting to miss play Charles Rush. Here's a huge extra point. Pasquale Romano to try it. He missed his first attempt. This one is up and good. So with 1:27 remaining in the first half, Newcastle Red Hurricanes take a 1-point lead over the Cathedral Prep Ramblers at 13-12. And we have a ball game on our hands. Got to be very, very they played a good solid half. Newcastle really, that was their best drive, and the drive was limited to 2 really big plays. That's really all they've done with the football in the whole half. The Prep has moved the football. They just have to get something off of those drives. Their real 2 scores came on big plays, on mistakes that Newcastle made. They made a big mistake special teams-wise. They also put the ball on the ground, and that led to the other Cathedral Prep touchdown. Prep's got to do something to capitalize on an offensive drive. Do they have enough time in this half to get that done? That's going to be the story right there. We'd have to find out in 1 minute and 27 seconds. Do the Ramblers go to a 2-minute offense? Keep in mind, back in the District 10 Championship game against Meadville, Cathedral Prep managed 2 touchdowns with just over a minute to go in the half. Punt return by Hinkle for the touchdown. Then great defensive stop. They got the ball back and went up top Carlson to Mays for the touchdown as Pat Kane gets the kickoff for Newcastle High School. I think a lot of Prep's decision on what they're going to do with the football will depend on that kick. They can get the ball up to the 30, 35 or 40-yard line. I think you'll see the Ramblers get the ball up in the air and try and get some points. If Newcastle can pin them down inside the 10 or the 15-yard line, you might see Prep try and run this thing out, get into the second half. Prep does get the football to start the second half, correct? Newcastle got the football first to start the game. So the Ramblers know they're going to get the first possession of the second half. So what they don't want to do is make big mistakes. You're offensively way down in their end. Kane's kick bounces at the 20. Ramblers have it at the 14-yard line. Right up the middle. Can he break it off? He's going to the football, and Easter can't hold on to it. Got it. And Newcastle says they have it. It's going to be Newcastle's football. Jeff Smith recovers it.
for the Hurricanes, and Scrim is now having a huge game, and they're getting big-time plays out of some big-time players for Newcastle. Boy, he made some great moves, Mike, and Easter just found the running lane. May have made a bit of a mistake, maybe a young mistake by Jason Easter. I think if he got through this lane and had broken it right here to the outside instead of the inside, he would have had an opportunity to keep going, and maybe would have been put in a situation where he was going to fumble the football. But that's Newcastle. That's what they do. They're looking for the big plays all the time.
Gallert with the give deep in the backfield to Austin, looking for a running lane, doesn't get it. The clock is winding, just over 1 minute to go in the half.
Well, I didn't see who it was, but it was either or Charles Rush, who's back in the football game. Huge play and grabbed the jersey to slow down it looked like for Newcastle. Let's take a good look at Rush and see how he looks.
Certainly not at 100%, and again, the kid was in the backfield.
Fumble and a loose ball on the field. Touchdown. Score or not off of this, that's got to be momentum. And I'll tell you what, Newcastle ran right at Charles Rush, and they were able to knock Rush off the ball. He's not 100% healthy. What a tough competitive kid. Watch him. They're going to go right at Rush, number 59. Rush gets knocked off the football. They're going right at him with number 27, Jordan Austin. He's had a tremendous second quarter with a huge mistake. The Ramblers with 38 seconds, Mike. I think Prep should get the football up in the air right now and try and get something done. They're going with 4 wide right now. So obviously there's a flag. What's that all about? Maybe an illegal substitution. That hurts. That really hurts.
Going to back him up, trying to get a man off the field. An illegal substitution against the Ramblers.
It's only a 5-yarder, so it's not a drive killer, but with only 38 seconds, every 5 yards is precious. Brian Steele was a guy who came running out of the football game. I'm not going to pin this on Steele. I'm not exactly sure what type of personnel that the Ramblers were supposed to have in there, but they're going with 4 wide receivers, so obviously that's going to get it up in the air.
And out of the shotgun, it's Carlson. Heads the sidecar to his left. High snap. He picks it up. Looking downfield, and he is dropped at the 41-yard line by Newcastle.
Big play by Sean Scott. Now Prep's just going to run this baby out. They're looking at about a second and 400 or something, so expect the Ramblers to try and run this one out. 10 seconds, Mike, and I don't even know if they'll get a Hail Mary opportunity up in the air.
Doesn't look like they're even going to try and get one off. 4 seconds. 3. They'll come up to the line of scrimmage, but the clock will expire as will the first half. It's been a wild one. The Ramblers had a 12-0 lead, but the Hurricanes come storming back and lead by 1 in the PIAA Western Final to go away. We're back with halftime festivities after this. The great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. We based on 98 Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks are the highest in GM's history. And for $99, check out the all-new fully equipped Pontiac Grand Am SD Coupe. Buy it for $15,900 or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome Liberty and make yourself a super deal. Rich Weaver, Buick Pontiac GMC, all at one location. What can I get for you, little boy? Santa Langer? I need an energy-efficient furnace to keep my family warm all winter. Santa Langer's Falls can deliver and install a furnace this winter so your family is warm and comfortable.
Santa Langer, I'm not sure what my family needs.
How about a hot water heater to give you plenty of hot water year-round? Happy holidays from H. Jack Langer Plumbing. No problem, happy holidays. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Gordita fans, grab a steak gordita. Marinated slices of grilled steak, a blend of cheeses, all wrapped in Philly flatbread.
you're looking for that perfect Christmas gift, this year give the priceless gift of good health with a membership gift certificate from Nautilus Fitness and Racquet Club. It'll be appreciated by everyone on your gift list. From now until Christmas Eve, every Nautilus membership is discounted to just a $69 initiation fee, and at only $69, it's an affordable gift for everyone. Come in now. This membership special ends Christmas Eve, only at the Nautilus Fitness and Racquet Club. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Kerr's Tire Corner.
Welcome back live to Veterans Stadium with our halftime score, 13-12. Newcastle came storming back to take a one-point lead over the Prep Ramblers. Very happy to be joined in the booth this halftime with Governor Tom Ridge, also a Cathedral Prep Rambler, a graduate. Governor, thanks so much for joining us. And I have the big question, are you the Governor tonight, a Rambler fan?
Once a Rambler, always a Rambler. I expected a very good game because they're two great teams, but prejudice and bias to the Rambler tonight.
With this game, with this crowd, it has to make you proud to be the man who runs this state, to see the communities getting behind both of these teams.
You know, it's pretty interesting that you said that, too, because I was thinking of Newcastle. This is a community that has been had a lot of economic troubles over the past 10, 12 years. This is the first time I think their team's had a winning season in 7 or 8 years, and you got great turnout all the way up in Newcastle. And, you know, the Erie community, once the season's over, we always support whoever represents our community. So it's a good community setting tonight for both towns.
You are so busy spending so much time in Harrisburg. Do you get a chance to follow the Ramblers? Have you been kept up to date throughout the year?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I particularly enjoy high school and college athletics, and so I stay pretty close in touch with what's going on back home particularly.
Well, assess this first half for us. I mean, what do you think? What would you do if you're Coach Mike Mishler? Or what does the Governor tell him as he walks back out on the field to do what
I heard that the Prep Rambler defense was pretty good, and their offense was pretty explosive. If you take a look at the two scores, one, they got the ball, I think, inside the 20 on the fumble recovery. The other was an incredible punt return, and they really haven't been able to sustain a drive. They tell me this kid that is a quarterback for the Ramblers has a gun. Maybe they ought to, it's hunting season, maybe they ought to let him go hunting.
And hopefully they will, Governor. We know you're a busy man. A lot of people want to say hello to you. We'll let you get back to the game. I won't ask anything about stadiums, other than this one full tonight with fans.
And I think this one's already paid for pretty close to it, so good to be with you.
Super. Governor, it's always a great pleasure. We hope your Ramblers come out on top. Again, the score 13-12. Newcastle has the lead. We'll be back with more of the halftime after this.
The great news we've been talking about is getting better and better. Rebates on 98 Pontiacs, Buicks, and GMC trucks are the highest in GM's history. And for $99, check out the all-new fully equipped Pontiac Grand Am FD Coupe. Buy it for $15,900 or lease it for just $229 per month with $1,000 down. There's never been a better time to buy. So come and see us at Welcome to make yourself a super deal. Rich Weaver, Buick Pontiac, GMC, all at one location. With the memories of last year's snowfall still in our minds, Kerr's Tire Corner is ready to handle your winter tire needs. Marty Kerr will be proud to show you the Dayton Winter Track Snow Radio tires. Kerr's also offers Dayton and Delta passenger tires for all season traction, and the Delta Vista with a 60,000-mile written warranty would make an excellent choice. And for the budget-minded, the Dayton Quadra LT offers terrific year-round value. Stop in at Kerr's Tire Corner, mention the TV ad, and receive a free winter wiper blade with the purchase of a pair of snow tires.
Poor Russell certainly has his shortcomings. Russell is poster boy for the same. But that's the chance. This year, I'm just going to think positive thoughts. I'm just going to think that you finally got me what I really want, and that you just dropped it in a really stupid box.
We are live at Veterans Stadium, 13-12, Newcastle, a one-point lead over the Cathedral Prep Ramblers. This first half, a tough one to assess. If you're Mike Mishler, what are you telling the Ramblers in the locker room right now?
Well, I'm going to defer to the Governor. I mean, he thinks that Carlson should get the ball up in the air, and so do I. I really do. I think Cathedral Prep offensively
might want to get the football up in the air a little bit. I think they really can throw the football on Newcastle, and they really haven't tried to do a whole lot of that in the first half. I really think they can exploit that. I think they can run, but I think they can even set the run up a bit better by getting the ball up in the air. And I think they can throw some medium deep passes, too. I really like those 15 to 18-yard passes right now offensively. I think Prep should go right to those. Defensively, the big thing is they've got to get Rush healthy right now and get him back, and they've got to stop those rush lanes that Newcastle is using some trap action. They're using some wing tee action. They're using some option action. So they're doing a lot of different things. Joe Moore up in the booth, I'm sure he's going to get it figured out, and it'll be interesting to see what they do scheme-wise if they keep those safeties jammed so far up. Newcastle can't throw the football. They just flat out cannot throw the football. So it's going to be up to Prep right now to continue to box down those run lanes.
Before Rush was hurt, Duff, we noticed the penetration of the defensive line of the Ramblers. Was that a major difference when he went down with the ankle injury? Is it still a problem? And we don't know that he's 100%.
Well, I think a lot of people lean on Charles Rush. When Charles Rush is out there doing the things he can do, so much attention is going to be paid to him that some other guys are going to be able to do some things that they wouldn't normally be able to do. That's not to downgrade them as players, but it's like when you got a great LeVar Arrington at Penn State, so much emphasis is going to be put on him that some of the other players can step up and make some big plays. So Rush is going to be a key, and the rest of the Ramblers defense is going to have to continue to make big plays. And I think you will see him keep their safeties up because I think Prep is confident enough in their safeties and the speed that they have that they're going to be able to run people down.
It certainly is an interesting first half to this point. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half. Out on the field at this point is the Newcastle High School Red Hurricane Band, and they came storming back in that second quarter. And you have to give them credit. They're down 12-0. They could have packed it up and said, we're done.
Well, we talked about the teams that are coming up as Whitfield champions. To them, their season's almost been made already. They're the Whitfield champions, and those teams down in Pittsburgh, and that's good for them. That's what they gear their seasons to become the Whitfield champions. The rest of the stuff is kind of ancillary stuff where, the Western Final, and then we go to the state championship. All that's well and good, but we want to be the Whitfield champions. So we wouldn't have been surprised if maybe Newcastle packed it in, but we talked so much about how they play with a tremendous amount of emotion. You saw that. You actually saw it happening when that fumble came. You saw the fans of Newcastle get into the football game, and you just saw a complete lift from the Newcastle football team. Prep played a very good half. I really think they played well, and I think if they play another half like they played, they're going to win the football game.
Our score at halftime, the Red Hurricanes 13, here at Cathedral Prep 12. We're back with more of the halftime report.
That over the river and through the woods time of year. Nothing. Go to the grandmother's house, the office, or the ski lodge like a GMC Yukon. And right now, there are more Yukons available in our area than ever before. Yukons are big and powerful. They seat six to include all the feature comforts. And yes, the Yukon starts at just $29,995. Don't buy anything until you test drive a Yukon from Rick Weaver, Hartley, Emily Man, Griffin Foster, Vickers, Nick Gray, or McClellan GMC. Hey, Wes, what's that? What are you doing here? This is great. It's high, you think? That's because everybody knows about the Northwest Bus. Yeah, I bet I have no friends. Do you? I don't know about that. The biggest thing isn't so bad, especially when you can offer people on medical assistance extra benefits. Yeah, no sugar can, house rent, prescriptions, 24-hour nurse line, and more. Hold a little, boss. Yes, let's go. Gotta go! So call MedPlus now and get on the bus. Celebrate the holidays, members who help out areas like shipping carton, cardboard boxes, wrapping paper, cardboard boxes, shipping carton, appliance boxes, and any other cardboard containers, and place them curbside next to a regular attachment or designated paper protector. The recycling.org call Eire Recycling Program for more information. Jacob's birthday party was so much fun at a shot in the dark. There we are playing in the game room, and here we are picking redemption prizes. We ate lunch in the food court, then we sang to Jacob in the party area. And here's the best part, the laser tag. Make your reservation for fun with...
Welcome back live to Veterans Stadium, 13-12. Newcastle with a 1-point lead over the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, joined by Patricia Gabriel from the VGN TV out of the Pittsburgh area. You cover this Newcastle team all year long. Any surprise to you the way they came storming back?
Well, it's been no secret all season that Newcastle has been a second-half team. To watch them tonight as a second-quarter team was a pleasant surprise, yes.
What do you think we'll see from Newcastle coming out in this second half?
Well, Newcastle seems to get fired up during the halftime talk with Gary Schooley. He's a very calm coach. He's very focused. We will not watch him raise his voice too much or lose his momentum. He'll go in with those boys. He'll keep them on an even keel, and they'll psych themselves up for the second half, and you'll see a stronger team appear in the third quarter.
The fumble in the first quarter, the punt return in the first quarter, a lot of teams would have packed it up and said, wind down the clock, get me home. Not this Newcastle team.
Without a doubt, Newcastle appreciates a good challenge, and Erie Prep has definitely set them up for that.
With this game and the way it's going, two very similar teams that have programs that haven't been there in a while. Now all of a sudden they both come storming back here in the PIAA Western Final. Maybe the best thing about Newcastle Cathedral Prep seems to be the support they both get from their schools and their communities.
One look around this stadium is a classic example of that. Newcastle pre-sold 2,000 tickets before the game, and that was just because that's all they received. Erie Prep, I'm told, pre-sold 5,000 tickets. But I think if you take a look around the stadium, you're going to see that these fans may very easily be evenly matched.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I just want to throw this in. The governor pointed out he's still a Ramblers fan. It's his alma mater. He loves the town of Newcastle.
Follow the governor.
Yes, it's certainly. It's great having you. Thanks so much. We appreciate your help during the week, getting some good broadcast reports on about Newcastle. You got a great program down there. Great to have in the Western Final. We'll see who comes out on top. And again, our score at halftime, 13-12. Newcastle with the lead. We're back to get ready for the second half kickoff. After this, you're watching the PIAA Western Final on Fox 66. With the memories of last year's snowfall still in our minds, Chris Tire Corner is ready to handle your winter tire needs. Marty will be proud to show you the Dayton Winter Track Snow Radio tires. Chris also offers Dayton and Delta passenger tires for all season traction, and the Delta Vista with a 60,000-mile written warranty would make an excellent choice. And for the budget-minded, the Dayton Quadra SE offers terrific year-round value. Stop in Chris Tire Corner, mention this TV ad, and receive a free winter wiper blade with the purchase of a pair of snow tires. Are you looking for employment?
Or a better paying career?
Employment opportunities are available now at Career Concepts.
Process engineer is needed in the Erie area, paying $40 to $48K.
A machining supervisor with 2 months field experience, $35 to $45K.
A position is open in process milk setup, paying $8 to $9 per hour.
Openings in shipping and receiving, $6 to $7.50 per hour.
A part-time executive assistant with computer experience, $7.50 an hour.
Full-time accounts payable clerk is needed, paying $7 to $8 per hour.
Career Concepts, your staffing headquarters.
Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, engineered with Power, the only system that operates at maximum capability all the time. Another first from Jeep. It's brutal! How did you get here? The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever. Check one out at your Jeep dealer. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by your local area Chrysler Jeep dealers. Again, back live at Veterans Stadium. The team still have not returned to the field. A long halftime break. About 15 minutes they take an intermission. Where was the momentum going heading into the locker room? Ramblers get that huge fumble duff, but yet then they get knocked back and are forced to let the time expire. Well, I think the momentum right now is there for somebody to reach out and grab it. I don't think the momentum is heading in either direction. I guess if you had to say one way or the other, you'd have to say Newcastle because they scored the last 13 points of the first half. But I think Prep did a number of good things late in that half. They came up with a tremendous offensive drive. It did not net any points. That's been a big problem for Prep. They're moving the football a little bit, but unable to take advantage and score some points. Newcastle wasn't able to do a lot with the football. They got this ball back on that big turnover, Mike, and were unable to do anything with it. Newcastle has thrown for 0 yards in the first half, so they are not a threat to throw. They've got 122 yards rushing offensively, but most of those came on that one drive. Now, of course, the big key were those 2 big runs that Austin ripped off for Newcastle. Cathedral Prep, they've looked better offensively than the stats would say. Only 39 yards rushing, 36 yards passing. They've only thrown the ball 4 times, Mike. I really believe that Cathedral Prep offensively has to throw the ball a little bit more to be successful in the second half. Now, if you look at the defensive side of the ball, I think Prep needs to get after it a little bit more in those rushing lanes and in doing some good things there to slow Newcastle. Probably got a little confidence in their running game now.
They got to go back to what they were doing so successfully early part of the first quarter, getting great penetration defensively, and really creating their own breaks.
Yeah, that's what they did early in the football game. They created some of their own breaks, and they've got to be able to withstand Newcastle looking to create their own breaks. A big key also, I think, in this second half for Cathedral Prep is picking up the Newcastle blitz. Every time Newcastle has made a big play defensively, it's when they're sending somebody on a gun. And if Prep can figure out a way to pick up those blitz, continue to roll out Carlson and get him in some space where he can look and make some great decisions, that's where I think they can be successful.
The Ramblers are on the field. The Red Hurricanes make their way out of the locker room and back onto the field. They will reset the clock at 3 minutes to get each team an opportunity to warm up and get set for the second half kickoff. The Ramblers again head coached by Mike Mishler, while Gary Schooley is the man for Newcastle High School, and both teams really have handled adversity quite well throughout the year. So that's a hard call to make, saying that any one team is that much more over the other team in that regard, because you look at the Prep Ramblers, probably their most impressive win was the comeback win over Altoona. That's when they went on a roll. That's when they realized that we can win some football games. They beat McDowell, get into the District 10 playoffs, beat Central, win the District 10 championship against Meadville, on to the inter-district playoffs with a huge win down at South Stadium by Shenley, and it certainly was a great run for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers, and they know how to handle adversity. You go back to just 1 week ago when this team was battling against State College, and State College, now has to be thinking to themselves, who did we invite into our league in the Cathedral Prep Ramblers? Because in 2 years, they enter that league with McDowell, State College, and Altoona, and that's going to be a great league with some great football.
I think about, you mentioned handling adversity, and that's really a big key. Both teams handled adversity in the first half. Newcastle handled it when Cathedral Prep got a couple of big plays, the punt return and the fumble, and turned it into 12 points. They handled that and were able to come back. And Cathedral Prep stemmed the tide when Newcastle came around and got 13 points to take the 1-point lead. So I think you've seen a microcosm of both teams in the first half. Both teams have handled adversity very well. It looks like Charles Rush, too, Mike. That's going to be another big key that we talked about. He looks a little bit more nimble now down on the Prep sideline, and that's going to be a huge key. If Rush can get out there and play for the Ramblers, I think they're going to be in much better shape defensively. When Newcastle ripped out those couple of big plays, Rush wasn't in the football game. So, let's wait and see what happens when he's playing, if they're still able to do that.
And the Ramblers will receive the ball in the second half. We opened the game with Newcastle getting the ball. The first play from scrimmage for Newcastle High School was a fumble that went the way of the Ramblers and ultimately resulted in a touchdown for Cathedral Prep. And capitalizing big plays the whole way around, a couple of big runs for Newcastle late in the second quarter. And this is still very much anyone's game, as warming up now, getting set for him, is Eric Carlson, throwing to Garrett Mays. Mays, in the last 4 games, has had a huge play. I mean, he's had a 60-yard touchdown reception, a 54-yard touchdown reception. I believe the other one was over 70-yard touchdown reception. He's had some huge plays, which they have not yet seen. I don't think he's even converted with Mays on a pass to this point in the game. And that's crucial. I mean, that's been a big play combination for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers that has yet to open up to here tonight.
Well, I think that goes back to thinking that maybe Prep's got to throw it a little bit more and take a few more opportunities. Obviously, Mike Mishler knows how to game plan a football game and knows what he's doing, and we certainly aren't going to second-guess the fact that Prep only threw it 4 times in the first half, because they've obviously seen something watching the Newcastle tape that maybe they don't want to go to the Eire. It's probably the Newcastle is such a tremendous blitzing team. They're probably trying to stay away from Newcastle coming up with big plays defensively. But I'd love to see them try and get it up in the air and get it down the field just a little bit more. And one of those guys they've got to look for is Mays. Lustig caught one pass for 16 yards. Hinkle one for 20 yards. The other guy they've got to get going is Bob Sanders. Sanders, 7 carries, only 13 yards. That's less than 2 yards a carry for Sanders. Easter carried the football one time, but he ripped off a 26-yard run. But then again, he also put the ball on the turf on that kickoff late in the first half. So Prep's going to look to get it going on the ground and through the air, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they look to throw it just a little bit more in this second half.
Captains on the field. That's at midfield. It is Joe Boyer along with Larry Auditore, Chad Lino, and Steve Noonan meeting with the captains from Newcastle High School as we get set for the second half. Kickoff, the Ramblers will receive 13-12 the score, 1-point lead for Newcastle High School. You're watching the telecast live on WFXP Fox 66. And I believe Jeremy Murphy is not yet set down on the field, but we'll go to him when we get a chance to find out what the mood of this team is as they headed back out onto the field from the halftime intermission.
Well, I think field position, Mike, we talked about that, is going to play a big part. Prep's got to, they've had some good opportunities special teams-wise. They had the long punt return, then they also had the long kickoff return that Easter put on the turf. So if Prep can get something done here in the special teams, I think they've got a little advantage, not so much in the kicking game. I think Newcastle has a little advantage with their punter and with their kickoff people, but I think Prep's return teams are a definite advantage here. I haven't been impressed that much with Newcastle in their kickoff coverage and in their punt coverage.
You notice Easter and Sanders stuff, they're up about the 15 in past kickoffs. They were actually more like the 5 to 10-yard range, so they're up a little bit. Pat Kane is the kicker for Newcastle, so they are up and going to try and make something happen with the kickoff return. Again, Sanders and Easter back, and this one is going to Easter, who will take it at the 17-yard line, gets that across the 20, the 25, where he's met and upended about the 27-yard line.
Easter was hit big time hard, and it was great that he held on to the football.
Justin Sheldon was the one who provided the stop for Newcastle. We will open up play here in the third quarter, and Eric Carlson, the quarterback, comes onto the field. We'll see exactly what the Ramblers open up with offensively. They'll send Garrett Mays on the short side of the field. Ed Hinkle will come in motion out of the I formation. It's Carlson with Lino and Sanders in the backfield. And the pitch is off the far side. He breaks one. Look out. That's out. Gone to 50, the 45, 40. He could break all the way into the end zone. He's being tracked down. They don't get to him. Touchdown, Cathedral Prep.
Well, I'll tell you what that is, Mike. We talked all halftime about them throwing the football, but the Cathedral Prep coaches saw something. They saw something up in the booth, and obviously they've got a lot more brains than I do, and they figured out that they can get something going in the option to the right side because number 74 for Newcastle is flying in on the option. Daryl Akins, he came flying in, and that left the whole side of the field open for Sanders, and they're not going to catch him. I'll tell you what. Jeff Scrim had the angle on Sanders and still was unable to catch him. Huge play. How about Newcastle fumbles on the first play of the first half? Now they give up a huge run by Sanders on the first play of the second half. Newcastle maybe not with great concentration as they begin halves of football.
Run for a 2-point conversion. The fake to Noonan. Carlson rolling. He is tracked down and dragged to the carpet.
That's Atkins again. He's tremendous. He's a tremendous football player.
But the Ramblers do take the lead, 18-13, early in the third quarter. A huge 72-yard touchdown run for Bob Sanders, the 5'8", 175-pound junior tailback. And what do you do now in Newcastle? If you're defensively, they're thinking like you are. They're going to come out throwing the ball, and the rushing lane is there. And just like that, you've got to shut down a potent offensive running attack, which we talked about in pregame.
I think Prep is still going to come out and look to throw the football. I still really believe that that's going to be there for him. The option has been there. Well, we said at half that Sanders 7 carries for 13 yards, less than a 2-point average. So they were obviously looking to get him going, and they did on one play. And we talked about momentum and who had it at half, and we kind of said, well, it doesn't look like anybody's got it really, and it's up for the taking. Well, I guess who's got it now.
So the man who runs 72 yards for the touchdown will kick off for Cathedral Prep when we resume play here in just a moment. 18-13, Ramblers with the lead. 11:39 remaining third quarter. Beautiful night here at Veterans Stadium for the PIAA Western Final. And a great football game as well. This one is going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a battle. Yeah, and talking a little bit more about Prep offensively, they got to figure out a way to get Atkins blocked if they are going to be able to throw the football. You saw they were trying to throw the football on the two-point conversion try. We also got to remember now, Prep scored 3 touchdowns. They haven't converted at all. So if they get 3 kicks, they've got 21-13 lead and an 8-point lead. The best Newcastle can do with the touchdown is tie. Newcastle scores now. They're going to take a 1-point lead. But Prep has got to get that Atkins guy blocked offensively if they're going to put the ball up in the air or if they're going to continue to have success running the football. Sanders kick taken at the 10-yard line, out over the middle. Great open field tackle. Great open field tackle. I believe it was Corey Lemon. Yeah, Corey Lemon. Tremendous job by Corey Lemon. Corey Lemon on the return, correct? Corey Lemon on the return. It's 36 for Prep. I think it was Juwan Walker. The freshman. He made a tremendous open field tackle, and if Walker doesn't make the tackle, Walker, who's got a history of big plays too, Mike, we saw him with 3 interceptions in the McDowell game. He's a guy that can do some good things. We haven't seen a whole lot of them, but that was a huge play right there. So we'll see if Joe Cowart can respond with Newcastle as they get their first possession here in the third quarter to give us the Gordon Austin. That same play that they used to rip off 2 big runs late in the second half. The Ramblers will try and shut them down defensively. And, we talked about the offensive line for Cathedral Prep struggling a bit in the second quarter. Matt Parsons, the sophomore, well, I tell you what, those guys opened up a huge hole on that last play, and that shows you the resilience of this team. And Rush is in the game for Cathedral Prep, and they continue to run right at him. And Rush is really limping big time, but he's strong enough and big enough on that play, and Rush is down again, Mike. Is he going to get up? He can't play. We're going to have to get him out. And that was Justin Sheldon, the fullback that he went head-on with, and he's staying in the ballgame, Duff. Wow, he is a tough kid. Now they're going to take him out. So Rush will come to the sideline. Justin Gregorzeski will head in to take his place, and he is limping badly as he comes to the sideline. Courageous kid, tough kid, and he's doing everything he can to get out there. So third down, we'll call it 5, 18-13, Newcastle trailing the Cathedral Prep Ramblers. Kane split to the near side of the field. Cowart, the quarterback, gives it straight up the middle for the fullback, Justin Sheldon, for a couple. That's what happens when you can't throw the football. I mean, it's third and 6 or third and 5, and you can't throw, so you've got to go off tackle and nothing going. So now they got to punt. I did not realize Newcastle was so one-dimensional. I watched that North Allegheny game. He had the one big pass to Kane. Yeah, and that was really it that they did through the air. And Kane supposedly has great speed. He's tall. He's 6'4" or 6'5", I think they have. And everything we heard about him was he continues to make big plays. But they won't even attempt to pass. I mean, how many times they threw it? They only threw it twice in the whole first half. And now they've got a 3rd and 6, and they don't try and throw it here. And it's Kane, your punter, and it's a low liner taken by Sanders. Sanders tries breaking it out through the middle. It's across the 35, across the 38-yard line. And he's brought down by Sean Scott. So the Rambler offense will take over once again. They've only been on the field in the third quarter for, 2 plays before they break it. 1 play, and they break it big. The one play that they broke big. Keep your eye on Atkins now from Newcastle. Big number 74. Daryl Atkins, a 6', 210-pound senior. He's playing the defense. Actually, he's playing like a line, outside lineman. They got Coachman on Newcastle. 62 on the outside there, Mike. E.J. Ryan. He saw Josh Lustig cross in front of him. Creeped up on the line, went a bit too far. And it looks like... Oh, yeah, they're calling it blocking it up. They're saying illegal procedure, Cathedral Prep. Didn't see it. Did not see that at all. So the Ramblers back up 5. They start at 1st and 15 at the 33. Garrett Mays will come to the near side of the field for the Ramblers out of the I formation. Chad Wino, the fullback, 5'11", 200-pounder. The give is in the backfield to the tailback Sanders, who gets a nice hole and gets out across the 45 to the 46 before Scrim is able to haul him down. And he'll need just a couple of yards for the first down.
Tremendous quickness in the Prep offensive backfield and on their offensive line. Their offensive line is doing a great job. They're not as big and strong as the Newcastle defensive line, but their technique is so good. Rick Kaczynski has done such a great job at the offensive line that Prep's basically out-coaching on the offensive line because their technique is so good.
Caparola there for the stop shy of the first down of Sanders. And, one thing that Kaczynski pointed out to me in practice this week, Beth, is, the media guys talked all about Sanders' 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown runs, but, it's those 7, 8-yarders, those ones where he puts you in great situations that let your offense really do what it's capable of doing that make him such a special tailback. 8:30 remaining in the third quarter. The give is in the backfield to Sanders. He gets outside, gets the first down out near the 50-yard line before Patrick Kane is there to wrestle him down.
Kane got out there, but he didn't have the speed to get out there with Sanders. He slowed him down, but he wasn't able to make the tackle. That's speed. That is just pure speed, and that's why as you watch college football more and more, you see that the great teams in college football are built around speed. Watch Sanders, Kane just can't catch up to him. Gets him by the hand, but when you only need 2 and you get 4, it's a first down, and that's what speed will do. Speed kills.
On the option to Sanders. Slips and goes down, but not before picking up about 4 yards on the carry. Scrim is there. He'll get credit for the stop.
Turf is a little wet, Mike. If you watch sometimes when these guys are going down, you'll see some splashes of water coming up. Some of that rain that we had earlier is evidently stayed on the field. As you see, Sanders just can't keep his feet. But still, a great pickup. You'd take 4 every time.
There has been a slight miss. We're not going to complain about the weather, but that slight miss may have made it slick. As again, they go out of the I formation looking left. Carlson's thinking keeper the whole way. Doesn't get much.
By that time, they got Atkins blocked. And usually when you see that option, Atkins is the guy that's forced into play. That time they had Atkins hooked, and Carlson was able to do something with the football. Sets up this is going to be an interesting call here, I think, Mike. Third and 3, third and 4. Prep's had great success running the football so far in this half, so maybe they'll stay with it, but it would be a great opportunity for a little play action now because Newcastle is definitely looking for the run after the Ramblers have done a tremendous job of running the football. Play action would be huge right now.
7 minutes on a moving third quarter clock. Swings to the near side. The pitch is in the backfield to Steve Noonan. Noonan with running room gets the first down and a little bit more to about the 37 where Joseph Cowart is there to bring him down. He was also the quarterback in its safety as well.
They've used this pitch in the first half with Sanders and with Easter, and basically just pitch it out there and let their back look for a lane. And Noonan knew he only needed 3, and he found a lane. And 3 yards later, this is a great drive by Prep.
Lustig comes in motion. Looking left, pressure by the end. Carlson avoids it. Now rolls right, in trouble, looks downfield. Has Garrett Mays with the catch across the 5. Touchdown, Garrett Mays and the Ramblers.
I cannot believe there was not a flag on that play, Mike. There is a flag now. If there's a lineman may have been downfield. That was a running play. It was a running play, and if there wasn't a lineman downfield, it's a miracle because does a tremendous job improvising as he comes back the other way. There's Atkins in the middle of it. Now Carlson sees he's got Mays, so he lets him run. But it was a run. Right. The play call was a run.
But you can't fault the offensive line.
No.
Because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They don't see what's happening behind them. But nice effort by Mays.
I did not see the flag originally thrown, and I'm saying, boy, I don't have a man downfield. He got an option to the left. Call is very interesting. I'd love to see play action. I really would. I'm not by any means criticizing the play calling at all of the Cathedral Prep Ramblers because they've done a great job, and I think they better get a timeout here or they're going to get a delay of game.
And
They do take a timeout with 6:29 remaining in the third quarter. We'll take a break. The Ramblers lead at 18-13. You're watching the Western Final on Fox 66.
How good can it get? A powerful 132 horsepower engine, the largest coupe interior in its class, split fold-down rear seats, race-inspired handling, and deluxe sound insulation for a quieter ride. How good can it get? It gets this good. Plymouth Neon. And now it gets even better. Plymouth Neon is just $10,620. Or get 1.9% APR for $2,100 in savings. Only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. With the memories of last year's snowfall still in our minds, Chris Tire Corner is ready to handle your winter tire needs. Marty Crew will be proud to show you the Dayton Winter Track Snow Radio tires. Chris also offers Dayton and Delta passenger tires for all season traction, and the Delta Vista with a 60,000-mile written warranty would make an excellent choice. And for the budget miner, the Dayton Quadra LT offers terrific year-round value. Stop in a Chris Tire Corner, mention this TV ad, and receive a free winter wiper blade with the purchase of a pair of snow tires.
In Chrysler Plymouth Dodge and Jeep and Waters, it is Chrysler Corporation's Tri-State Superstore. We've got over 500 of the hottest selling, most desirable vehicles produced today, like the 99 Plymouth Prowler, the all-new LHS and 300M, Dodge Intrepids and Chrysler Concords, Sebring Coupes and convertibles, plus Hyundai minivans, Jeeps, Ram trucks, and all-new Dodge Durango. People drive from 3 states to get their best deal at Hume, so come see us today. We're only 9 miles south of the Mill Creek Mall on Peachtree in Waterford. Jamie Murphy is down at about the 35-yard line. James, what's the result? Charles Ross continues to walk on his injured right ankle. He was chop blocked in the first quarter. Chop blocked again. That caused the re-injury. He's going to probably have to walk it off. So Carlson tries to get some back, picks up about 5 before he's brought down by E.J. Ryan. Well, that's the play actually we've been calling for, Mike. They just didn't get anybody open. And Carlson does a good job picking up 3 or 4 yards. He made a good decision. There wasn't anybody open downfield, and at first and 15, that might be a situation where maybe Newcastle's looking for it a little bit more. But they continue to pound here and do a good job running the football. Play action's not going to make it. So Carlson will bring them up onto the I formation once again. Ed Hinkle is now in the ball game. Carlson rolling right, looking downfield. Now wants to keep it across the 35 and 30. So about the 28-yard line where Scrim is there to make the stop. Is he close enough for a first down? Yeah, he's a good yard and a half short, Mike. Hey, watch Carlson deliver the flow here. Scrim's a defensive player, but this is a straight roll, no play action by Carlson looking downfield. And Newcastle evidently doing a good job downfield, but watch Carlson lay into Scrim. Scrim gets blasted back a good yard or two. Scrim, you're supposed to lay the hit when you're playing defense, not the other way around. And guess who's on his tail the entire time? Hackett. And not Tom. Yeah. Tom's done a nice job tonight as Carlson looks to throw. Picked off at the 2-yard line by Corey Lemon. So Newcastle stops the drive and takes over at their own 2. He was throwing deep and he had a man. He just didn't get it out there far enough. He was throwing on the run and maybe just not the arm strength to get it that far. If Carlson gets his ball up in the air and leads his receiver, he's got 6 points down at the other end. Who's he throwing it to, Mike? I think Mays. Can't tell by the number there. 85. Steer. Brian Steer, yeah. Brian Steer, the big tight end. If he leads him a little bit, he might have 6. But that's a tough throw to make. I mean, when you're running and trying to put the football 45, 50 yards up in the air, that's hard to do. So Newcastle from their 4, it's the fullback, Justin Sheldon. 4:44 ticking on a moving third quarter clock. Second down, we'll call it 7 for Newcastle, backed up in their own territory, but happy to have it there after the interception stop. What was turning out to be a pretty good Cathedral Club drive. It was a good drive. It still was a good drive. I mean, they got them trapped down. We've talked about the Ramblers haven't been able to. Gordon Austin finally hauled down by Josh Lustig, but he gets out to the 30 before Lustig can bring him down. It was a good offensive drive by Prep, and the interception was better than a punt because it pinned down at the 2, but now Newcastle behind Austin has made a number of big plays, and they seem to be finding themselves a little bit offensively here. Prep's defense, too, has been on the field for a good portion of this game. Other than that last drive, Prep's defense has spent a lot of time on the field. And it's Austin again. This kid's proven to be a big-time player here tonight. Had a huge second quarter. Finally brought down by Lino. And he is shy of the first down by about 4 yards. That's where they'll have it. Second down will call it 4. Ball spotted just across the 35-yard line. They started on their own 4 after the interception. Cowart, the quarterback. The give is to Austin. Austin makes it happen. Gets maybe 2 on the carry where Steve Noonan. The pursuit down the line. Looking to cut it up this time. The lanes are jammed up, but they string them out, and Austin, just because he's so talented, figures out a way to get 1.5. So it's third down and 2. There you see the score. The Ramblers lead it 18-13. Newcastle with the ball in the third quarter. And it's Spin this time, and he gets across the 40 for the first down. They'll move the chain and continue to drive, which again started on Newcastle's own 4-yard line after an interception of Carlson Bass. 2:39, third quarter. They give the scrum, gets a yard, maybe 2. They've got to find a big play defensively. They need to bring it back, or they need to get something going defensively to slow this Newcastle drive down. Newcastle just pounding it out. Newcastle obviously thinks that they're bigger and stronger up front. If they keep pounding, they're going to move the football and wear a Cathedral Prep team that's maybe a little quicker than they are, maybe not as big, maybe wear them down just a little bit. And right now, at least, it seems to be working. Ramblers packing them in defensively. Cowart to throw, looking deep downfield, has Pat Kane for the reception, breaks the tackle, is on his feet down near and inside the 5-yard line to the 4 before the Ramblers haul him out of bounds. Well, that's what play action does for you, Mike. We've talked all game how they can't throw it, and obviously this is what they've been setting up. They've been pounding. They come back to it. Great ball movement by the quarterback. Cowart does a tremendous job. Play action's a killer. Play action is an absolute killer. They tucked everybody in. Kane, who had big play after big play this year for Newcastle, gets wide open down the field, and Newcastle knows how to pick their spots throwing it. They don't do it very well as an every down football team, but when you can use play action like that, when your running game's going, you can sometimes throw it effectively even if you don't have all the weapons. First and goal for the 3. Cowart with the give and the touchdown for John Rossetti. So Rossetti will give Newcastle a 1-point lead, possible 2 depending on the conversion. Takes to the fullback, gives it to the fullback walks into the end zone. Give Newcastle's coaching staff a tremendous amount of credit on that drive. That was a beautifully executed, beautifully drawn up drive. They pounded Cathedral Prep. That Prep with 9 guys in the box, 8 guys in the box. Great hand work, some great ball work by Cowart, the Newcastle quarterback, and he finds his favorite target. Kane wide open. That's only the 3rd pass that they have thrown in this football game, and with 1:43 left in the 3rd now, Newcastle with a 19-18 lead. In this situation, you probably go for 2 in this situation because then field goal only ties you in this situation. So going for 1 really does them no good at all at this point. So I'd be very surprised if they didn't go for 2.
That drive started on the 4-yard line, took a little over 2 minutes for Newcastle, and you talk about capitalizing on mistakes and turnovers. You'd think that might not happen when you intercept it on your own 4, but it wasn't a terrible turnover. I mean, when you can pin a team down at the 4-yard line with a 3 or wherever they started that drive, that doesn't kill you. What killed Prep on that drive was Newcastle's ability to run the football. I mean, the pass play was the big play of the drive, but that was set up only because Newcastle was able to run the football. If Newcastle comes out on first down and tries and throws that pass, they've got no chance to complete it. But when you can run the football like they can, you can set up play action. That's when you're going to have some success. So we'll see if they go for the 2-point conversion, which it looks like that's what they're discussing. Now they got to go for 2. It doesn't make any sense to kick it. And that's what's going to happen. The conversion from the 3-yard line. Joe Cowart, the quarterback, did a nice job engineering that 96-yard drive for Newcastle. Now trying to cap it off with a 2-point play. The wide pitch out goes to Rosati, and Rosati, they gave it to him. Boy! Yes, well, the ball, the official's right there on it. So evidently the ball must have broken the plane of the end zone before he fumbled it, because he definitely fumbled the ball. I mean, they just get it out there to Rosati. We might get a pretty good look at it here. Now, you can't tell when the ball came out. Boy. Nonetheless, it counts for 2. So just like that, it's 21-18. Newcastle back on top. This one's going to be a showdown to the finish. 1:43 remaining in the third quarter. Mike Gallagher along with Brian Duffy and Jamie Murphy live on Fox 66 WFXP here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Happy to bring this PIAA Western Final to you. Programming note coming up Sunday on Fox NFL Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys visit the New Orleans Saints. And that can be seen live with kickoff at 1 o'clock. And of course, the Fox pregame show prior to kickoff. Well, Prep can move the football, Mike. A lot of time to go in this football game. Prep has proved they can move the football. What they haven't been able to do is sustain a long drive and get it in the end zone. When they have scored, Sanders had the big run, and the other time they scored was on a punt return, and then they got the fumble that had set them up in good field position. But I really like the way Prep's moved the football. I really think they've shown they can run the football. I still think the play action is going to be there. I still think Prep's going to use that successfully before this football game is over. They can move the football against this Newcastle defense as good as they are. Sanders and Easter will stand at their 15-yard line to take the kickoff from Kane. We've been talking about that play action all second half. We were just hoping that Prep was going to be the one that eventually used it, not Newcastle. Out of bounds, we'll drop the flag. The field position was 35, I believe. And Jamie Murphy, I believe, is set on the sideline. James? Nope. We'll get to Jamie in a little bit. Jamie evidently went for a hot dog or something. He didn't bring us in. Oh, well. Yeah, they're re-kicking here. So they will kick over. Well, when you think about it, you've got Easter and Sanders. You can get the ball in their hands. Obviously what they're thinking. So they will back them up to the 35-yard line. They're backing it up to kick it from the 35 instead of the 40, so it is on the out of bounds. So Sanders and Easter will go to the 20-yard line. And Pat Kane will kick off. It shows a lot of confidence in your football players, Mike. It really does. It really shows a lot of confidence in your guys. Sanders taking it at the 25, out across the 30, 35. Get around the corner. There's that speed, Mike. Face mask. And a great call by Mike Mitchell to take the kick. Corey Lemon drags him down. Now the Ramblers in great field position. And Jamie Murphy is standing by on the sideline. James? There's absolutely no panic in this Prep team. Right after Newcastle scored the touchdown, Coach Mike Mitchell immediately told his players, relax. We still have a full quarter to go, and we can still win this game. By the way, we just got word 8,500 people in attendance for tonight's game. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Jamie. That brings the attendance just about 1,000 shy of an actual sellout, but believe me, there are a lot of people here tonight at Veterans Stadium. And it's straight up the middle, brought down by William Caparula. And that was Easter on the carry. The clock is winding at 1:17 remaining third quarter, 21-18.
Such a confidence in the guts that Mike Mishler has. I mean, 35-yard line is tremendous field position, yet he tells him to kick it over, and look what he's rewarded with. He picked up 5, 10, 15, almost 20 yards on that penalty. Great decision.
On the option, the pitch is to Sanders. Sanders gets out across the 45 to about the 41. And correction, I believe that's Easter in the ball game. 44 seconds. Corey Lemon brings them down. The clock continues to wind here in the third quarter. So now Easter's down to the sideline.
Very situation they've been in when they need a big play. There's been a big third down. Newcastle comes with the blitz.
The tailback is Steve Noonan. 23 seconds. The clock winds out of the I formation. The fake, and Carlson rolling left, looking downfield, getting pressure. One ball, Steve Goody loses the football, and a Rambler falls on it. I believe that maybe the hitter who finally falls on it for the Ramblers.
Well, they're just having a hard time getting people blocked when they use that roll. I mean, they're just not getting people blocked on the end. Newcastle's been able to put tremendous amount of pressure on Carlson, and that's probably why the Rangers haven't controlled the football as much as we think they are able to do. And again, that was Atkins doing a great job.
So the third quarter comes to an end, 21-18. The Ramblers trail Newcastle. We're back with the fourth quarter of the PIAA Western Final live on Fox. After this.
What's your idea of the perfect minivan? Is it the most luxurious one with a leather trim and preferred suede interior, heated front seats, and dual zone temperature control? Or is it America's lowest priced minivan that still includes features like easy out-roller seats and air conditioning? There's only one place to choose from the complete selection of award-winning minivans. Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Now get 1,000 cash allowance and 1.9% APR on Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. Are you looking for employment?
Or a better paying career?
Employment opportunities are available now at Career Concepts.
A plastics process engineer is needed in the Erie area, paying $40 to $48K.
A machining supervisor with CNC experience, $35 to $45K.
A position is open in plastics mold setup, paying $8 to $9 per hour.
Openings and shipping and receiving, $6 to $7.50 per hour.
A part-time executive assistant with computer experience, $7.50 an hour.
Full-time accounts payable clerk is needed, paying $7 to $8 per hour.
Career Concepts, your staffing headquarters.
Dave, coldest day yet. Dogs won't move. Still no way to contact. Supplies are running low.
I'd like some cookies and my taco.
There are a few things you can always count on. To go anywhere, Jeep Cherokee is just one of them. Lease a new 99 Cherokee Sport for $269 a month and get all this at no extra charge. Check one out at your Jeep dealer. You're watching Erie's Fox 66.
We have one quarter left to go in the PIAA Western Final. The winner advances to Hershey for a shot at all the marbles in the state championship. As it stands now, Newcastle leads it 21-18. The Ramblers getting set to punt it away to the Hurricanes. And Garrett Mays off the side of his foot gets a little distance out of it, and a Rambler roll down inside the 15. It'll roll dead at about the 12, where the Hurricanes will take over first and 10. Good punt. Yeah. Good effort out of the kicking team for the Ramblers, and they needed that in that situation. Make Newcastle use most of the field if they're going to punch another one in here. Ramblers need a big play defensively, Mike. I don't know who it's going to come from, but somebody on that defensive line or one of those backers is going to have to make a good play with the absence of Charles Rush. Rush just not able to get it done. When you can't put any pressure on your ankle, it's hard to play football. Cowart, the quarterback. Straight up the middle is John Rossetti, guy who has proven to be the go-to guy down close to the goal line. It's been Austin that's done most of the damage otherwise. But a pretty good running attack by Newcastle, and Prep, give them a lot of credit. Prep pretty much slammed the door on the Newcastle running attack through the first half, other than those two big plays.
Second down and a long 5 at the 15. Cowart wants to keep it himself.
I would see more of that. Really thought that we'd see Cowart maybe carry the ball upwards of 15 times. That's only his second or third carry in this half. He carried it 5 times in the first half. Well, he still might get to 15. But here's a big play.
Third down and 3. See if the Rambler defense can hold.
Be nice to hold here, because then you start talking field position.
Cowart up under center, has his fullback straight behind him. They give this to Gordon Austin,
and he depends on the spot. Doesn't look like he made it.
It's going to be a close call.
Don't think he got it. Good pursuit, good tackling by the Ramblers. Prep doing a good job. They got a little penetration that was able to slow the Newcastle ball carrier down, and then the backers came in and did their job, put them away. That's a big stop because of the field position, Mike, right there. You know, if you let Newcastle get a couple first downs, now you've got a lot of field to work with right now. Prep's been very good in their punt return game, and there's no reason to believe now that it's not going to be more of the same, and the Ramblers should get some good field position out of this.
Pat Kane standing at his 8. It's Hinkle and Sanders back to receive the punt, standing at about their own 47-yard line. This punt is short, and Sanders wants to pick it up, and he does. Going to try and turn it into a turns it up the field. A huge block as Sanders finally steps out of bounds at the 13-yard line. That's Walker, the freshman, I believe, who came up with a block of a lifetime.
That is the biggest play of the football game right there, right now. Jawan Walker with an absolutely killer block. Walker comes out of nowhere and absolutely annihilates somebody from Newcastle. Number 39 from Newcastle gets absolutely destroyed on the near sideline. Here comes Sanders. The block will be coming momentarily as you'll see Jawan Walker just annihilate somebody. There it goes right there. That's number 39 from Newcastle getting absolutely smoked. Sanders eventually stepped out of bounds, so he doesn't get into the end zone and Prep's on offense now.
First and 10 at the 13-yard line. The quarterback is Carlson. He goes with the pitch to Sanders. Sanders gets maybe 4.
We got so excited about the block that we thought he got in the end zone, but he evidently stepped out of bounds.
I watched him step out of bounds as Ernest Orelli comes up with the stop on that play.
That was one of the all-time greatest blocks I've seen at any level of high school football. The guy's a freshman. That kid just is in position to make big plays.
You know, and you want to point out, he's a relative of Mark Tate, which is a familiar Rambler name.
Tells you something. And again, it's the special teams that do a great job for Prep setting them up, but now the offense has got to take advantage, and now it gets a little touchy because you got third and probably still a good 2 or 3.
Noonan brought down by Belisco. 8:44 remaining in the ball game. 21-18. Ramblers trail Newcastle. Third down. We're going to call it 3.
This is when it's tough to be an offensive coordinator, Mike.
On about the 6-yard line. Mishler calls the plays from the sideline. He has the right of refusal, and he splits guys out to the near side of the field. He's got Hinkle and Mays out there, but the pitch is to Sanders straight up the middle and into the end zone. The Ramblers are on the scoreboard.
I believe that play was designed to come outside, Mike, and Sanders saw a lane inside, cut it back in. It's a pitch, and it looks like Sanders is thinking about getting around the end. But watch the cutback right there, definitely. He was thinking about taking it to the outside, and there was a block missed on the outside, but Sanders read it so beautifully, cut it back in, and again, it's speed and intuition, and that's what wins football games.
Sanders has a way of finding the end zone. He finds it there, and there is a timeout on the field with 8:18 to go in the ball game. We'll take a timeout. The Ramblers lead it 24-21. The conversion is yet to come.
good can it get? A powerful 132 horsepower engine, the largest coupe interior in its class, split fold-down rear seat, race-inspired handling, and deluxe sound insulation for a quieter ride. How good can it get? It gets this good. Plymouth Neon. And now it gets even better. Plymouth Neon is just $10,620. Or get 1.9% APR for $2,100 in savings. Only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Your family. People who are there for you. People you trust. People that make you comfortable. Sound familiar? Hi, I'm Chuck Fuller from Patterson Insurance. We've been in business for over 140 years. All our dealers have met the Lennox Quality Dealer Standards program. With Patterson Insurance, call for all your home heating and cooling needs and tell me if you want portrait or wallet size. One less thing to worry about. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Engineered with carbon fiber. The only system that operates at maximum capability all the time. Another first from Jeep. It's broken! How'd you get here? The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. The most capable sport utility ever. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
Jason Bullock converts on the extra point, goes to a 4-point Rambler lead. They now have a 25-21 edge over Newcastle High School. 8:18 remaining in this Western Final. Now this one is going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, this has been just a great high school football game. We thought that last week when we watched the State College Cathedral Prep game that we had seen, maybe the best game we had seen in a long time. This one has everything, just like that one did. That one brought us overtime. This one we're not on a score at this point to see any overtime in this football game, but it has had lead changes. It's had tremendous special teams play. It's had big offensive plays with the run and the pass. It's had tremendous block. The best block I've ever seen. That was just absolutely spectacular by Walker.
And a programming note coming up following our telecast of the CIAA Western Final. Keep an eye out for Coach. At 10 p.m. you'll see Cops, 11 p.m. Mad TV, and America's Most Wanted will air at midnight tonight. So do keep it tuned to Fox 66 as we wind down to this finale of the Western Final with the Ramblers leading it 25-21. You know, Duff, I met at length with Coach Joe Moore, the defensive coordinator, and he said, Mike, this game is going to be a war. It's going to be a battle. He assessed both teams, and boy, he called it.
Yeah, well, did Joe Moore know anything about football?
Yeah, he knows a little bit. And speaking of Joe Moore, coming up on Tuesday, Joe Moore flies to New York to help induct Bill Freilich, the former University of Pittsburgh offensive lineman that he brought to Pitt from Penn State, into the College Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Joe Moore being invited to that certainly very prestigious ceremony coming up in New York as they get set for the Heisman. Scrim and Lemon back to receive the kick by Sanders. And Sanders' kick goes to the up back, touches it, picks it up.
It's huge that Newcastle player touched the ball. Cost the team probably close to 15 yards because that baby was going out of bounds.
So they'll take over at the 22-yard line. First down and 10 with 8:12 remaining in the ball game. 25-21, your Cathedral Prep Ramblers with a 4-point lead.
And they've done it with special teams, Mike. Prep really has. They really have been tremendous special teams. We know that they struggle kicking the football a little bit, and everyone knows that there's been a little weakness for them. But their return teams have been absolutely dynamite tonight.
Cowart, the quarterback. Into the slot back, John Rossetti.
Rushing stats, Mike, through three quarters are pretty even. Prep with 164 yards rushing, and Newcastle with 156. Neither team really looking to get the ball up in the air like we thought it might happen for Cathedral Prep in the second half. But Newcastle's going to stand the ground. What you have to worry about, they've shown that when they keep pounding, they'll come at you with that play action, and they've got to watch out for that. Coward again up under center. The give again is to Rossetti. Rossetti makes room, breaks a couple of tackles, out across the 40 to the 45, down to about the 47-yard line. First down Newcastle, they're on the move. 7:34 to go in the game. Thank you for joining us live on Fox 66 for this exclusive live telecast of the PIAA Western Final. Steve Noonan comes to the sideline for the Ramblers, talking things over with the defensive coaches. As Coward steps up under center, Pat Kane split to the near side of the field, in motion. And the give is deep in the backfield to Scrum, and he is hit hard right about the line of scrimmage. And again, Duff, Charles Rush is in the ballgame. Yeah, that's incredible to me. Because the last time he went down, he could barely walk to the sideline. And that shows you what this football team is all about right there. Look at 59 trying to walk. I mean, kid's not even going to be, that ankle's going to be so swollen by the time this football game is over. But there he is, and I'll tell you, he's right in the middle of that play, too. Charles Rush. Gordon Austin is the man with the football. Doesn't get much. And on the bottom of the pile is Charles Rush. Well, let's see what Newcastle can do on a third long, trailing by 4 points in the fourth quarter, Mike. This is a passing situation, and this is going to be a very interesting play call. 6:09 remaining in the ball game. Newcastle with the ball. Coward has to throw, looking for the screen, completes it to Sheldon, the fullback. He breaks a couple of tackles, is down the sideline all the way to the Ramblers' 20-yard line. Well, I'll tell you, Mike, when you don't have a real true passing game, you got to come up with stuff like that. That's just a great play call. I mean, that is just a tremendous play call. They use play action, and they go with the screen. Watch the play action. There's the fake on the pitch. That's your play action. Then the backside screen catches the Ramblers napping just a little bit, and it's a big gainer for Newcastle. I'll tell you what, this is a very well-coached team on the other side of the football. They know what their limitations are, and they've got a couple plays that they can use in big situations, and we just saw one of them. Kane split to the far side of the field. Coward again, the quarterback, to take up the middle to give us to the slot back, Austin. He doesn't get much, maybe a couple. Well, I tell you, Newcastle has thrown 2 passes in the second half, and both of them have been huge. Absolutely huge. It's good execution. It's just good football. Austin hobbling off the field. I don't know, but he is out of the ball game right now. The fullback, Justin Sheldon, behind Coward. Bring the slot in motion. They give it to that slot. Scrim. And he doesn't get a whole lot. Duff's defensive line with good penetration there. They get a little help from a couple of their backers. Big play, Jake Lynch in on that tackle for the Ramblers. Lynch doing a nice job on that play and helping out the defensive lineman. Big play for Prep because it sets up another one of those long third down plays now. It puts them in a passing situation. You got to watch for maybe a middle screen here, some type of play action, maybe a draw play. Third down and 8 for Newcastle. The fake and the pressure. The shuffle pass over the middle, completed to Rossetti, and Rossetti gets into the end zone for the touchdown for Newcastle. They're back on top. Hey, was that Winston that had Coward had him around the legs, and he had a lunge at him, but that's another one of those plays. I mean, here's a team that knows it can't drop back and pass. They just flat out know they can't drop back out and pass. So they use play action, they use the backside screen, and now they use the shovel pass, and those have been their 3 biggest plays of the football game. Great pursuit by Jake Lynch. Gets there, but not quite enough. Well, we talked about maybe a middle screen there, and that's basically just about the same thing. You're getting that shovel pass. Well, that's some great play calling. Pass by Romano to try and give Newcastle a 3-point advantage. And he misses it wide right, so it's a 2-point ball game. 27-25. Newcastle back on top. 4:36 to go in the game. is it going to be the last team that has the football offensively wins the Western Final? You have to give credit for both teams for putting on quite a show here tonight in prime time.
Yeah, Prep did a pretty solid job, as crazy as it sounds, defensively on that last drive. But Newcastle executed on third down plays, on two huge third downs. Twice it looked like the Ramblers had those drives stopped. 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, they use a backside screen, and then they use a shovel pass to eventually score the touchdown there. That's impressive football on the other side, and we've seen a lot of impressive football from the Orange and Black, too. And let's see what the kicking game here can do, Mike. This is where Prep has been very, very good on the return game, and let's see what they get here.
The 8,500 plus in attendance here at Veterans Stadium, certainly getting the price of admission and then some, with both teams giving it all. Sanders and Easter will be back to receive the Kane kickoff. They'll stand on about their 15-yard line. And actually it's Hinkle now in to return the kick as Easter comes to the sideline. So it is Bob Sanders and Ed Hinkle standing on about the 15 as the return men for the Cathedral Prep Ramblers.
Just completely impressed with both teams, both coaching staffs have done a tremendous job putting their football teams in position to do great things. There's more great field position.
As they try and keep it out of the hands of either one of the speedy backs for the Ramblers.
Dan Long did a tremendous job there, scooping up the football for Cathedral Prep. Those can be a little bit dangerous sometimes when they start bouncing around. That's when you lose some type of field position. But Long made the smart play, acting like a shortstop, scooping that up through and getting about 6 more from where he picked it up.
4:29 to go. Hands put to the far side of the field, out of the I formation. Josh Lustig goes in motion. The give is deep to the tailback, Sanders. Sanders gets a few. Sean Scott with the stop. If you'd ever like a long time consuming on the ground drive, or do you just...
The clock really is affected. Yes, the prep. I think if the Ramblers can keep this drive going, the clock will become a factor at some point, and they're going to have to hurry up because we're down to 4 minutes now. Plenty of time, and there really is no hurry whatsoever. But time could become very critical later in this drive.
Fumble. Sanders loses the handle. The ball's on the turf. I believe he fell on it.
Now you want to talk about critical.
3rd down and long.
Maybe we'll see some type of backside screen or something from Prep. They've obviously wanted to throw the football a little bit in this half, but they haven't been able to block the right people to be able to throw.
And on the turf for Cathedral Prep is fullback Chad Lino, the 5'11", 200-pound junior, as the Ramblers trail at 27-25. And I tell you, we talk so much about Easter, Sanders, Noonan. It's this guy, Lino, who is the first man through on so many occasions, and you don't want to lose him at this point.
He's one of those guys, he's like the old Ryan Millen used to be at Penn State. He's going to be in there, he's going to throw some blocks and do some good things, and he's not going to carry the ball a whole lot. But when you lose a guy like that, you really lose a big part of your offense. You're right. Not a headline grabber type of guy, but just a steady guy who's out there knocking people around.
Doc Rayner is heading out to assist, and it looks like a leg injury. They'll help him off the field. Seems to be favoring his right leg. As you see Golak warming up, and we talked about the kicking game. And right now, a field goal could put the Ramblers up by 1.
They're not even thinking that right now. Right now they're thinking first down, and they need 8. And you watch for Atkins. Atkins isn't in the game. His ankle must be hurt. Oh, yes, he is. There he is. Third strike. Carlson on the screen to Garrett Mays. Mays comes back into the middle. Doesn't have much to work with. Just barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And Sean Ulsko is there for the stop. Interesting play call. I think a good play call. That opens up. He's got a lot of room to run. It's like one of those backside screens or one of those shovel passes. Newcastle just had their people in the right spot, and now you got all kinds of people hurt for the Ramblers. If we take another look at it, the middle screen, and Mays just can't find any running room as Newcastle does a good job staying home. So Garrett Mays now being attended to on the field. Tangled up on the play. Got 4th and 8, Mike, with 3:12 left. Carlson's still on the field at this point. This will be, if you go for it and you don't get it, then you really limit your chances. But with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go, and the way Newcastle's been able to run the football, this is why they pick people like Mike Mishler to be a head coach, because he can make these types of decisions in these types of situations, and that's what this game ultimately comes down to, is making the right decisions at the right time. And it's a lot to put on an under 30-year-old first-year head coach in the Western Final. They're going for it. So Mays is being held to the sideline. They are going. 4th down and 8 for Cathedral Prep. 3:12 remaining in the game. They trail 27-25. And before they do this, Mike, I'm going to say that I think he's making the right decision. Drop straight back, getting pressure, looking for the screen. Sanders doesn't see it. It falls to the carpet. Newcastle will take over at about the 41-yard line of Cathedral Prep. Pressure off the end. Pressure off the end, Mike. That's what threw out the timing of the play. Sanders came out to set up the screen. The blocking was all there. So watch Carlson. Carlson throws this ball about 2 seconds before he wanted to. As he gets pressure from the backside, you can't see the pressure from that angle coming in. But Carlson wanted to hold on to that football for another couple of seconds. Sanders had the blocking out here in the left flat, but he just hadn't turned around yet in time because it's a timing play, and they work on that. The Sanders knows when to expect the ball. Carlson just had to throw it a little early. They got to get a 3 now. Coward. That's a good start right there. And the defense penetrates and comes up with a huge play. 2:59 remaining in the game. Sheldon could go nowhere. Going to take their time. Prep, all they can do is watch this clock spin at this point. Newcastle will try and use every bit of the play clock. So it's 2nd down and a long 12 for Newcastle. Back in motion, the pitch is to Rosati. Flag. Picks up some good yardage. Flag on the play. Might be a fair. I've seen some face mask calls on Newcastle sideline. Face mask against Prep hurts. So that will give them a 1st down after they step it off. And Mike Mishler is looking on. That's a tough one because they had him in a 3rd and 5 situation, or 3rd and 6. On top of that, it's not a 15-yard personal foul face mask, so that's a huge one. A tremendously precarious situation with only 2:18 to go in the game. 1st down and 10 at the 23-yard line. Lance puts it on the inside of the field. Coward, the quarterback. The Ramblers trying to come up with a huge defensive play, and stuck hard by Charles Rush is Gordon Austin. Let's go down now to Jamie Murphy. James? Quick report on the 2 Ramblers that were hurt. Chad Lino twisted his knees already back in the game, but Garrett Mays has a more severe knee injury. He twisted it, and his return is doubtful. Thank
Thanks, Jane, and hopefully there is the need for the offensive weapons for the Ramblers. 1:44, the clock is ticking. They're taking every second possible off the clock. At second down and 9 for Newcastle. Wing back in motion, a pitch to Rosati again. Rosati gets a couple of yards, maybe 4. And that will bring up a third down and 4. With 1:18, this game is ticking away. Prep just uses what I believe is the final timeout. So the ball is on the ground there, and we're kind of on the other side of the field. Prep was signaling that they had recovered a fumble. But the officials, I think, have done a tremendous job in this game, and they were right on top of that one. So 1:18 remaining in the fourth and final quarter, 27-25. Newcastle with the ball, third down and about 5. A player being attended to over near the sideline of Newcastle at about the 17-yard line. They're working on a player now. Can't tell who it is at this point. And I believe it is John Rosati, and it is. He gets up and is being helped to the sideline. Mike Prep can't stop the clock again. That was the final timeout. 27-25 with 1:18 to go. Third down and 5. To have a chance, you've got to stop him here. And I don't know. Kane has been their kicker, and I don't know how successful he's been in trying field goals. So even if they kick a field goal, makes it 30-25. That means you need a touchdown to tie and an extra point to go ahead. But with no timeouts remaining, that's going to be awfully tough to do. But what Prep needs to do here is get the stop here and worry about that kind of stuff later. They got to get their hands back on the football to have a chance to win. While we have this brief moment, we want to thank the crew for helping us bring this live telecast to you, and our spotters in the booth. John Lafferty down on the sideline running the coordination down there. John Moore, a special thank you. All the folks from Image Video, pictures as Chris Weisberg corrects and calls the shot from the shotgun. Mike, this is a huge play here, Mike, and they're able to stop him. I believe going to set up a fourth down situation, but they can't stop the clock. So once they get this thing spotted, Prep's going to get the football back. They're going to get it back with probably under 30 seconds to play in the football game, and they're going to need 3, maybe 6, depending on what Newcastle does here. Newcastle might just go for it if they get it. This one's history. 46 seconds, the clock is moving. Fourth down and a long one. They are going to go for it. It's probably a good move. They're going to let it wind. They'll wait and see the official's hand before taking the snap. Takes it. Didn't get the first down, so the Ramblers will have a couple of plays. They'll have 26 seconds left with no timeouts. Talk about high drama. But they only need a field goal. And now, Prep struggled a little bit with the kicking game, but they only need a field goal. They probably need to get the ball down to the 15-yard line at least, which would set up a 25, 32-yard field goal. And you got your top receiver, one of your top receivers in Garrett Mays on the sideline with an injury team. The field goal team is warming up and hopes that something can happen. 26 seconds left to go in the game. High drama on clock 56. 27-25. Newcastle with the lead. You got to throw it deep, and in high school you can really throw it anywhere because the clock's going to stop on first down, but you got to throw it at least 10 yards down the field. High snap, flags on the play, Carlson picks it up. Going with 4 wideouts, a box car to the side. We'll see what the official call is. Illegal procedure against the ring. That helps. Does not help at all. Well, it helps Newcastle. About Hail Mary time. No, I mean, all you can really do is fire this one. But you got to use the great backs, though. If you spread them out and make something happen. Carlson looks deep, goes down the sideline for Ed Hinkle. Hinkle makes the grab and is out of bounds at the 46-yard line with 18 seconds
seconds on the clock. Did he get out of bounds? They're saying no. The clock stopped anyway because they're going to move the chain. So what Carlson can do here real quick is spike the football, or he can go ahead and run a play. Either way, you might want to spike the football and then talk things over a little bit and figure out what you're going to do. Yeah, Carlson will spike up. Good decision making. 1 second he loses on the spike. 17 seconds. 27-25. Newcastle with the lead. Hinkle with the huge reception. The key is where you have to get for a field goal attempt. And Newcastle takes a timeout. Well, with Krolak, it's not great, and I admit that. But we'll see. If you get it down to the 15, you've got a 32-yard field goal attempt. Here's the bomb, and Carlson throws out a beauty. I thought Carlson had overthrown anybody, but a tremendous job by Hinkle. Down the sideline, the streak, and the boy just sets himself out and just makes a great play on the ball. In the Newcastle player misjudged the football, and Hinkle did. That's a big-time play. I mean, even if Prep doesn't win the football game, they've got a legitimate chance now. This is a big-time play under Prep. Let's figure this out a few ways, Mike. If they get it down to the 15, makes it a 32-yard field goal. That's about you got to figure that's about as far as field goals they're going to make in this type of situation. The ball sitting at the 46-yard line right now. They need a good 30 yards, I think, before they can even think about kicking a field goal. And we don't know a lot of Hampton throw to the sideline. Well, no, because the clock stopped because it can't move the chain. So you can go up and spike the ball and then bring out your field goal. But now with the defense so spread, they have great speed in the tailback position. Well, I don't think you can take a chance of running it. There's no way. You can't do it. Carlson getting pressure, in trouble. Down, they're holding him down. That could not happen. That's got to spike the football. 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Did it happen? He spiked it in time, so he'll get one play. Now you got to go to the end zone. The Newcastle people are on the field. That was a mistake that, you don't. Carlson didn't want to make a mistake in that situation, but you got to get rid of the football. You really do. You can't take a sack in that situation. They're cleaning some of the Hershey Kisses off the field. 1 second remaining. 27-25. Ball sits at about the 44-yard line. That's great hustle by the Prep receivers and those guys to get. Now here comes an illegal substitution penalty. Illegal substitution against the Ramblers. Second time penalty. Mike Mishler is not going down without a fight. Well, that sack was really tough. I mean, it was going to be tough anyway from the situation they were in, but if they would, because it takes a long time to throw a 30-yard pass. I mean, it doesn't take 2 seconds. But to take the sack and still have an opportunity here is fortunate in that respect. They've got to give Carlson enough time here to throw deep. That's going to be key too. Out of the shotgun, going for the Hail Mary, deep downfield. It goes incomplete. This ball game is over. Newcastle is celebrating. They're heading to Hershey to battle for a state championship. The Cathedral Prep Ramblers fall just 2 points shy, losing by the final score of 27-25. They're celebrating on the field. What a ball game we've had here. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap it up in the PIAA Western Final live on Fox 16.